ibyo wakoze duhimbazwa dusingizwa n'ukwawe mwami w'abami nokora kozemo
niyo botwita amazina bari mu kutwita
even though they can name us names that are not ours.
Ico si kibazo.
That is not an issue.
Umuntu avuga uko ashaka.
Everybody's born accordingly.
Ariko umutima wawe
But your heart,
ugomba kugambirira.
Your heart must
kavuga ngo sinziyandurisha
vow to not defile itself.
Amen.
Amen.
Sinziyandurisha ibi byose.
I will not defile myself.
Byageze naho Shadraka na Meshach na Abednego batabwa mu itanura ry'umuriro.
It got to a point Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, they were thrown in the den of fire.
Ndetse terabwo barababwira ngo se umwami arababwira ngo se niziye mbaraga mwizezo tuma mutaje hari.
And the king said to them, what kind of strength and might you believe in that you're not going to perish?
Ariko ari jambo bamubwiye.
But there is something that they said.
Baramubwira na respect nyinshi.
And they spoke with so much respect.
Baramubwira ngo umwami Nebukadineza.
And said, King Nebuchadnezzar,
Imana yacu ishobora kudukiza rino tanura ry'umuriro.
our God is able to save us.
Kandi nitanadukiza.
But even though he doesn't,
tuzapfa tuyizeye.
we would die believing in him.
Ndashosha.
I'm done.
Bene data.
Brethren,
hariho imbaraga zituremereye zidashaka ko tubaho.
there is a certain power that oppresses us.
Hariho system ishaka kuduhindura aho tutari.
There is a system that wants to transform us into who we're not.
Hariho amajwi ashaka n'imbaraga zishaka kuvuga ngo twibagirane.
There is voices and strength that wants us to.
Hariho system ihari ishaka kugira ngo baduhindure tiwitwe runaka adasa ntitwa adasa tumwitirire.
There is a system that wants us to be named the names that are not ours.
Convincing baraho bavuga ngo ntukiri umukobwa wa runaka nturi runaka ariko turashaka kuba uko twebwe dushaka.
They want us to be confused in our identity so that we transform into who they want us to be.
Izina bashobora kurihindura.
You can change somebody's name.
No, leti hari system ihari yo guhindura izina.
You can change your name. Your name can be changed.
Bakavuga ati ntituzosha kwita adase kura ngo ngubeho turakwitira indi izina.
And they will say you're no longer going to be called Adasa, you'll be called a different name.
Ariko umutima wawe.
But your heart,
ukaba ngo nubwo ibyo bihari.
even though that happens,
hari ijwi ry'Imana.
there is a voice of God.
Hari ico nizeye.
There is something I believe.
Imana yavuze ko kiyagizo kidu.
God said that he will give us the nation.
Kizayivuguruza.
He does not go back to his word.
Kishobora kwivuguruza.
He doesn't.
Hari ijwi rivuga ngo
There is a voice that says,
muhumure.
be still.
Muhumure.
Be still.
Kandi iryo jwi ryaza ridutabara.
And there is a voice that is coming to us.
Abashaka kudukora ibyo bashaka.
Whatever people want to do to us,
ntaco bazogera.
they will not accomplish it.
Bazobaza umubiri.
They will hurt our bodies.
Bashobora kutwicira butuvukana.
They might kill our people.
Bashobora kugira n'ibindi bakaduhanga tukahangara.
They might do other things.
Ariko
But
Imana ni Imana.
God is God.
Ico yavuze zagisohoza.
What he says he will fulfill.
Muhumure bene data.
Be at peace.
Imana yabivuze.
God who spoke,
izabikora.
he will fulfill it.
Je uri hano imbere.
I myself,
ndabizi kuko na hari yanzu subiri wacu nkakandagira.
I know for sure I'm going to go back home.
Condition navuyemo.
The conditions that I came from,
kuko twavuyemo twanga. Twavuyemo batwirukana nta kintu dufite.
we left with nothing.
Ariko abo twazanye.
But those who we came with,
abana twazanye twabazanye twebwe ari incuke.
the children we brought, the little kids that we brought,
ubu nabagore bafite ababo.
now they're grown people.
N'abagabo bafite ababo.
They're women who are mothers and fathers.
Dufite icizere.
We have hope.
Hari ijwi ritubwira ngo
There is a voice that says,
jewe
I,
tuzasubira iwacu.
we will go back home.
Systeme y'isi yo turemerera.
The system of the world might be heavy.
Uko bihabivuga kose.
Whatever happens,
Muhumure.
be still.
Izi ni imbaraga z'isi aya ni amajwi y'isi
This is the strength of the world, the voices of the world,
ariko hari imbaraga y'Imana
but there is also
hari
the strength of
ijwi
God.
ry'Imana
There is a voice of God
rihari vuga ngo ni muhumure
that says, be
hariho
still.
imbaraga z'Imana
There is strength of God
zizadukongera zikadufata ikadusubiza iwacu
that will lift us and enable us so that we can reach home.
Imana itugirire neza
May God do unto,
Imana
may God
idufashe,
do unto us. May He
kandi
help
Imana
us
idukomeze
and may He strengthen us
muri ibi bihe turimo
in times like this
kugira ngo turesiste
so that we can resist,
umukristo ahagare nk'umukristo
so that we stand firm to our faith.
abahaye baburanira ubwoko mu buburanire
Those who are in defense of our
abafite
nation.
kugera ahandi muhagere
If you have to go and
abari
be
kuma
farther,
ku mavi nimukomeze musenge
those who are kneeling and praying continue.
kuko umunsi umwe
Because one day,
hariya ni muri gakondo yacu
that is our home.
bana sifiwe soza reka mvuga aya magambo
As I finish, let me say this.
nigeze kumva ubuhamya umuntu umwe avuga ngo ngira ngo none hano muri za 50 muri 40 niho umuntu ngo yavuye azavuga iriya misozi y'iwacu kirimo abaturage bakeya
In the 40s, when we still had a lot of people,
avuga ko nawe atamubonye ariko ayo makuru yahasanze
but this man said
ni
this.
umusaza mukuru utabangaba afite imyaka 80
It is an older man. He's about 80,
arababwira ngo iyi misozi
and he says these mountains.
Imana yamubwiye ngo yazabamwe ubwoko burebure ara-identify ngo kandi bazubaka bayikwiye.
And he said, in these mountains there would dwell a type of nation, a type of culture of people, and they would dwell here.
Ico gihe kiratambuka
Time came and passed,
abantu barakizwa iwacu
and people received
ngo
salvation.
barakizwa Imana yabwira ngo iki gihunda kibahari
And then after they received salvation, God said,
hari ubwo Imana yigeze yivuguruza kandi
I've
kitatuhaye
given you this land.
iracari yayindi
He's still God.
turacafite mu masezerano.
We still have the promises.
Haleluya. Muhumure
Be still.
nta kibazo.
Be encouraged. There's no problem.
Nje ubwanje nje nyine havuga
I myself.
ijwi Imana iravuga ngo uzagusohoka ubukavu wangaye.
You will be chased out of Bukavu.
Ariko ico shaka gukora
But what I want to do,
ndashaka kukujana mu bihugu z'abazungu.
I want to take you to the foreign countries.
Nyuma ya
After that,
nugerayo
when you get there,
mfite ico sinkibabwira mfite ico uzogukorera iri.
I will do something for you.
Tekeza ngo Imana kwiravuga ngo ngiye kugusohora mu gihugu wangara.
Imagine God saying you're going to leave your nation.
Wenda abantu kwangara no kuvuga ngo kugusohoka mu gihugu ma condition mabi.
Kwanga. It means leaving your nation in bad conditions.
Ico yavuga ngo uzasohoka mu gihugu wikoreye amaboko stadire mfite agahinda.
Meaning you will live with so much sorrow.
Ndavuga nti kubera iki ari cyane nakoze ndakubera iki nsohoka mu gihugu nikoreye amaboko.
Why should I leave the country lifting up my hands?
Nda.
What did I do? And I said no.
Imana iravuga ngo niko mpaye mvuga.
And God said, it is I, the Lord, who speaks.
Nzabikora.
I will do it.
Ariko nyuma ya
After that,
nzakugarura.
I will bring you back.
Twicaye ahantu aho twari twahungiye twakubwe nta tudafite icyerekezo.
When we're sitting where we had already,
Ijwi kavuga ngo hariho gutabara kuraje.
there's a voice that said,
Nta
hope is
espoir
coming.
nimwe twari dufite yuko twotabara.
Hope was the voice said hope is coming, but we didn't know.
Twicaye
While we're sitting,
mbona umupolisi w'umubende
and I saw a police officer who
n'umwana w'umuescort umusirikare ntarinze
and a young man,
baraje.
and they came to me.
Uwo mupolisi arambwira ngo iyo narindi muri barracks.
And he said where I was in barracks.
Ineza wangiriye
The good that you did to me,
umutima wambwiye ngo bashobora kuba bakwishe.
my heart told me that maybe somebody killed you.
Yagiye agera mu rugo aho twari dutuye
He went to my home where I was,
asanga bahadukuye
and he found that we
aza
were kicked out.
kurikikira aho turi
And he came searching for me,
araturangiza
and he found us.
aravuga ngo humura.
And he said, be still.
Twageze deba namwe ngo si umupolisi ufite imbunda ya pisto muri abasirikare badukura gute. Aravuga ngo naje ndabikora birakunda.
And he said, I've come to your rescue.
Ubu ni wadukuya.
He's the person that saved us.
Nukuvuga ngo imbaraga cyugomba kuko nje nariko ndeba ubwiwo wenyine nkabona bidakunda.
Because I was looking at him alone, and I'm like,
Ariko
this is
cyo
not
yakoze
possible.
yamfashe kuboko.
But he held my hand,
Uwo musirikare afata madamu kuboko.
and then the other
Arambwira ngo
held my
abana
hand.
bafata amaboko.
And then we held the kids' hands.
Tugende.
And then he said, let's go.
Tugira ikibazo n'izi ntambara.
Don't worry about what's happening. Don't worry about the war.
sinabyumvaga
I didn't understand it.
none
So,
ufite ubwoba bw'iki
why are you so fearful?
muhumure ijwi rirahari rivuga
Be
ngo
hopeful.
ko riradutabara
There's a voice that is coming.
imbaraga y'Imana
The strength of God.
izatusubiza amasezerano yacu.
It will take us back to the promises.
Kadusenge.
Let us pray.
Mana uri mu ijuru hejuru y'amajuru,
Father, in the name of Jesus, who's above all,
uri uwo kwizerwa, uri uwo kwiringirwa.
you are faithful, you are to be trusted.
Icyo wavuze niyo catinda uzigisohoza.
Your word that you have spoken, even though it might delay, you will pass.
Isiraheli bamaze imyaka 440
The
mu buretwa,
Israelites spent 400 plus years.
ariko umunsi umwe wumvishe gutaka kwaho,
But one day you heard their cry,
uranabibona,
and you saw it,
urababwira ngo manuwe no kubatabara.
and you said, I've come to rescue you.
Mana tumaze igihe kirekire turi mu ntambara,
Father God, we've been so long.
twagabweho n'abanzi baraturemerera, hari imbaraga zidusikamiye Mana,
And our enemies have oppressed us.
ariko uyu mugoroba ndagusaba kugira ngo gutabara kwa udutabare udukure muri izi ntambara.
But we ask that you hear our voice of plea.
Dufite abavandimwe badafite aho boja berekeza,
We have relatives that don't know where to go.
dufite abavandimwe bakomeretse babuze kivura.
We have relatives that don't have refuge.
Isi kwiraturebera ariko ntacyo yayikora,
The earth is looking at us, but nobody is doing anything.
ariko turakwizeye nk'Imana yacu.
But we trust you, for you are
Ngwino
our God,
dutabare Mana kandi dukure muri
and
ibi
you are
byago,
God of
mu
refuge.
izina rya Kristo Yesu,
In the name
amen.
of Jesus. Amen.
umuvugabutumwa arakoze, Imana mu umugisha.
Thank you. May God bless you.
Kandi turasa n'abashoje umwanya wacu wa mbere.
We're done with our first session.
Abakongomani dufite umukoro umwe, homework.
Oh, we all have the same homework. All Congolese.
Umukoro dufite
The homework that we have,
nuwo gusengera igihugu cacu no kugikunda.
it is to love and pray for our nation.
Nta kindi gihugu twadushaka gisha,
There is no other new nation we're seeking for.
ni igihugu cacu c'abasogokuru tuzakigwamo.
It is our forefathers' nation, and we will dwell there.
Ariko ico tugomba kugikorera nk'abakirisitu
But what we can do as Christians,
ni ugusenga.
it is to pray.
Imana izihindura abami ikazana yandi,
God brings kings, and kings pass and others come.
ariko umunyamasengesho uzusengera abantu bagwanye igihugu ciwe ngo bafate igihugu ce,
But an intercessor,
uwo nguwo ni bidashoboka, akwiriye kwicwa. Usengera ngo igihugu ciwe gifatwe,
a person who prays for their nation to be captured,
uwo si umukirisitu.
that is not a Christian.
Ariko umukirisitu
But a Christian is,
nubabazwa n'ibiri mu gihugu,
it is the one who stands
kandi akanezezwa no kubona impinduka.
and is happy to see a change.
Ariko impinduka z'amasasu, abantu bapfuye ni benshi ntazo twigeze tubona.
Many people died.
Kandi guhamagarwa kw'Imana,
But the calling of God,
Imana ntizihamagara abantu bose.
God doesn't call everybody.
Timutekereza ngo abanyamurenge bose bazahamagarwa.
Don't think that all Abanyagatumba people are called.
Dukeneye umugabo umwe gusa utuje imbere natwe tukamukurikira.
But we need one man
Ukuri udafite amarangamutima, utari umunyabwoba, utagendera mu rusaku.
who does not walk in noise, who doesn't have emotions.
Mose yayoboye abagabo 600.
Moses led about 600 men.
600,000.
600,000.
Yes. Kuva muri Egypti,
From Egypt,
abo bagabo bose ntibahamagawe.
all those men, it doesn't mean they were called.
Ariko Mose niwe wahamagawe.
But Moses was called,
Bagenda bakurikiye guhamagarwa kwa Mose.
and they followed his calling.
Kandi niwe wabagejeje mu isezerano.
And he got them to the promise.
Nukuvuga ngo twese ntituzahamagawe.
Which means that not all of us are called.
Kandi nimba dutekereza ko twese tuzumva ijwi, iryo jwi ntituzaryumva.
Not all of us are called to lead.
Ariko dukeneye umugabo umwe gusa w'umunyamurenge.
But we need one man.
Cyangwa se w'umukongomani.
One Congolese man.
Uzaduheza umurongo.
Who will give us direction.
Kandi ni uzatugeza muri Kongo. Twebwe nta yindi Kanane dufite ni Kongo.
There is no other Canaan for us.
Kandi nta yindi dutegereje ni muri Kongo.
It is Congo.
Kuri ubwo rero Imana ibagirira umugisha.
May God do good unto you.
Kandi Imana ikomeze baheza imbaraga zo gukunda igihugu no kugipfira nubwo turi hano, ariko amaraso yacu menshi ari muri Kongo.
May God give us the strength to fight.
kandi natwe badutijeho kuba ariko tuzongera dutahe.
We are also here, but one day we'll go back home.
Imana ibagirire neza. Reka tufatse twegereze uza kudukurikiza gahunda ya kabiri.
As we enter into the next section, we're going to ask somebody to come and lead
kugira
us
ngo
through
baze
that,
bafate uyu mwanya.
so that they can come.
Reka twiyegereze pasiteri
Let's welcome Pastor
kugira ngo akomeze gahunda ikurikira.
so that he
Imana
can
ibaheze umugisha
May God bless you.
kandi tukomeze tubane no ku mwanya wa kabiri.
Let us be together.
arakoze cyane umuyobozi wa gahunda ya mbere
Thank you for leading the first session.
kandi arakoze n'umuvugabutumwa wacu pasiteri watugejejeho ijambo ry'Imana.
Thank you for the word of God, Pastor.
ndabashimiye.
I thank you.
nongeye gushimira namwe mwese muri aha ngaha babashije kubaha ahantu.
And I thank each and everyone that is here tonight.
Imana ibahe umugisha.
May God bless you.
ndashimira nawe umusobanuzi.
Thank you. He thanks me.
ndagira ngo sinzi naruha turaza gushaka uwundi nawe amwakire ariko ndatekereza ko araza kwihangana. mbahaye kaze muri uyu mwanya wa kabiri. uyu ni umwanya ugora kuri njyewe ku giti cyanjye
I welcome you to the second section. This is a very
ariko ni
hard
ngombwa
time,
ko tuwucamo.
but it is of importance that we go through it.
igitabo ca Zaburi 142 umurongo wa 8
Psalm 142 verse 8.
hazavuga ngo kura umutima wanje mu nzu y'imbohe kugira ngo mbashe gushima izina ryawe.
Take my heart out of slavery so that I can praise your name.
imitima yacu abantu bagiye kureba abantu bari muri kicaro umuntu yatekerezaga ko wenda twari gukenera ibyicaro nk'ibi bine bitewe n'abantu bari muri uyu muhana.
When you look of the city of Edmonton and our people, you would think that this place will be overflow.
ariko urabona yuko abaje nibo bakeya.
But you can see that the ones that came are few.
nkibaza ngo ese imitima yacu iraboshwe igomba kubohorwa kugira ngo tubashe guha abacu agaciro.
Are our hearts in bondage that we lack to give value to those who passed away?
ishobora kubiboshwe n'amashifti, ishobora kubiboshwe n'ibindi bishobora gutuma umuntu uyu mwanya aburira abavandimwe, inshuti, abaturanyi, akababurira umwanya wo kuza kubahumuriza.
Is it that we're in such bondage that we lack time to come and unite in a times like this?
ibindi by'agaciro ubutekerezo urimo ukora ntabwo mbyumva, ntabwo mbibona.
I don't understand what is of value that you're doing.
tugomba kugeraho tuzirukura umutima wacu ikava mu mazu y'imbohe.
We need to let go of things so that we can be able to
ibintu byakubohesheje kujya wumva ko kino kintu gifite agaciro gakeya,
something that made you think that this is of less of value.
byabaye kuba byabayeho nuko utari uhari nawe byari kuba byarakubayeho.
What happened to other people? If you were there, it would have happened to you too.
reka rero mbiyegereze dukomeze gahunda.
Let us continue with the session.
twiyegereje Bishop Palma wabanye natwe kandi waduhaye n'iki cicaro.
We thank you, Bishop Palmer, for giving us this space.
community y'abanyamurenge hano muri Edmonton iragushimira kandi uzi ubufatanye bwanyu n'iyi community.
The community of Abanyagatumba in Edmonton thanks you.
turashimira abashumba bose baturimo.
We thank the pastors that are among us.
Imana ibahe umugisha.
May God bless you.
hanyuma ndahapore abacikacumu,
My condolences to the survivors,
by'umwihariko famiye ya Mugenza
especially the family of Mugenza,
na famiye y'undi muturanyi wacu umugabo w'umubembe witwa Lunda, turi kumwe n'umwana we hano.
and the family of Lunda.
Imana ibahumurize.
May God strengthen
n'abandi bose bagiye bahura n'ibyago handi hatandukanye, namwe ndabasabye ngo mwakire ihumure riva ku Mana.
And those of you who are in different places and who are affected, we pray that God gives you peace.
ndagira ngo nze gusaba abantu bari buze kuba bafite amaliste, imyirondoro y'abantu twaburiye hariya.
Those who have the list of the people that passed away,
kugira ngo tubashe kwibuka abantu tuzi,
so that we can remember the people that we know,
kuko harimo benshi bashobora kuba batabazi batarabumvishije,
because there are many people who might not know them.
ariko ni byiza yuko tuza kumenya abo bantu, iyo myirondoro, ayo mafamiye. ndabizi kuko ayo mafamiye twese tuyisangamo, wabuzemo wawe nabuzemo wanje, nugukomera ariko intego nyamukuru hari yo kugira ngo dukomere.
Some people lost many people in those people that died, but the greatest thing so that we can be strengthened is
nugukomera kugira ngo imitima yacu ive muri iriya nzu y'imbohe tubashe kwigirira amateka yacu atari amateka dushobora kugirirwa n'undi wese.
It is so that our hearts are set free so that we can create our own history.
Nta muntu wakwigisha uwundi uko ababara.
Nobody can teach somebody how to grieve.
Tubabara uko twababaye nyine.
Everybody grieves differently.
Kandi kuba utabihesha umwanya ariko umwe mwaje hano nzi kuko mwababaye n'uyu munsi murababaye.
For those who are here tonight, I know you're sad.
Inshuro 21 zitambutse twibuka.
21 years passed.
Nuguhesha agaciro abadusize.
It is to give value to those who left
no
us.
gushima yuko hari amapfundo yashibutse mu basizwe.
And that there is hope to those who are left.
Kandi izo mbaraga zigomba kubaho zikazakora biriya pastor yavuze ko tuzataha tuzagira iwacu. Izo mbaraga zirahari kandi zigomba kuba muri twe.
And those strength exist in us.
Baraza baze kudufasha basoma amazina imyirondoro yabo. Niturangiza gusoma imyirondoro yabo,
And then after that,
nimba hari amabuje y'icizere azaba hari,
if there is a candle, a hope of candle,
baraza kuziduha barangije gusoma ya myirondoro.
we're going to light it.
Turaza kuzatsa twazimije andi matara yandi mu cizere cyo kuvuga yuko tutazazima.
We're going to light it in the hope that our hope will never die.
Bishe amagana,
Hundreds died,
ariko ntibishe twebwe twese turaha n'abandi bakiyabavuka.
but us were still alive and there are people being born.
Reka nsabe rero ndatinze abafite turaza gukoresha urumuri rw'amatelefone yacu.
We can use the light.
Nirwo tuza gukoresha icyo gihe.
We're going to use the light.
Turaza kubaha gahunda uko tubikora. Reka dusabe abafite amaliste batambuke batugezeho imyirondoro y'abantu tugiye kwibuka.
Those who have the list, if you can come forward.
Yego. Tubanje gukomeza inshuti n'abavandimwe.
We want to strengthen friends and families.
N'abantu bateraniye muri sare umunsi wa none.
And people who are here tonight.
Kubwo kwibuka abavandimwe.
To remember.
Biba bibaje kuvuga ngo uyu munsi wa none ko turavuga abavandimwe badukuwemo.
We said that we're speaking about the people that passed.
Kandi barazize ubusa.
And they died for nothing.
Bazira karengane.
The injustice.
Ntacyo bakoze.
And they just died. They were killed.
Nkuko wabanjeje kutwigisha bivuze.
Like the way Pastor said.
Yavuze ko hari ibyiringiro.
He said that there is hope.
N'ibyo byiringiro rero.
In that hope.
Twe tugomba kubitanga. Twe tugomba gutanga izo byiringiro.
We should give that hope.
Byumvikane yuko nta gihigwa Imana izahanura mu kirere ngo izane ikindi gishasha.
There is no other nation that is magically going to come from above and then dwell on earth.
Nikiriya tugomba guhindura.
It is that nation that we must change.
Tukibanamo n'andi moko.
And live in that nation in peace with other people.
Buriya bwicanyi tukabuhagarika.
And those deaths must be stopped.
Kubera yuko haje umwuka mubi utera mu bene gihugu.
Because there is a bad spirit that is upon the leaders.
Umwuka w'ubwicanyi.
A spirit of death.
Ndizera yuko bidatinze tuzawukuraho.
I believe that we will go back.
Kadusoma amazina y'abavandimwe.
So these are the names of the people that passed away.
Ni imiryango igera ku ijana ku bantu bagera ku ijana na barenga.
It is 100 plus names.
Reka dutangire kuri famiye ya Mukwiye. Famiye ya Mukwiye igizwe n'abantu bakurikira: Uziya Gahindi Mukwiye, Dando Mukwiye, Risi Mukwiye, Daniel Mukwiye, famiye Gaturuturu igizwe na Zera Gaturuturu, Tantine Gaturuturu. Famiye ya Mugabe Yohana cyangwa Yohana igizwe na Nyabihanga Mugabe, Nyabirori Mugabe, Fiye Mugabe na Bea Mugabe. Famiye Rukungu igizwe na Claude Nzabakiza Rukungu, Rukungugu, thank you. Nyagazura Aime Rukungugu, Muhuza Felix Mukungugu, full term cyangwa se abantu bavuze ngo ni full term ariko umwana bari mu nda. Urumva bamwishe mama wamutwite. Hariho famiye Sebahire, harimo Murekatete Sebahire, Patrick Sebahire na Kadada Sebahire. Famiye Muyengeza, harimo Nyarukundo Muyengeza, harimo Rusengo Muyengeza, harimo Musore Muyengeza. Famiye Maniragaba, harimo Bukuru Maniragaba, Ndayisenga Maniragaba na Ange Maniragaba. Famiye Ntwari, harimo Pauline Ntwari, harimo Jane Ntwari cyangwa se Jeanne Ntwari. Famiye Gishoma, harimo Askofu Gishoma, harimo Nkunda Gishoma. Famiye Biguge cyangwa Biguge, urumva twege Kinyamurenge cyari kimaze igihe cyaradutaye, Kinyarwanda cyaraje imbere cyane. Famiye Biguge na Rumanzi Fabien cyangwa se famiye Biguge Rumanzi Fabien. Bagizwe na Biguge Fabien na Innocent Biguge na Didier Biguge. Famiye Runezerwa igizwe na Makuru Wiza Runezerwa na Bose Runezerwa na Biju Runezerwa. Next.
Turakomeza gusoma amazina y'abaguye mu Gatumba. Ino liste sinziriya nayiko bimeze, ariko hari nahanditse asobanura uko abantu bishwe. Mwanya nuboneka munyemere nabyo no byongera kubushize nabwo nabonye ariko bari babigenje. Ndahera kuri hariho yari yasize kuri famiye ya Shemu, uri kumwe ni Jeremy Shemu, umwana w'imyaka 2 ubamba yishwe n'amasasu. Hari famiye Shoni irimo Masigabona Shoni, Nyakiza Shoni, Musa Shoni, Amani Shoni, abo bose bararashwe. Famiye Kasa yarimo Nyahoza Kasa, Ziraje Kasa, Jeannette Yvonne Kasa na Bebe Kasa, abo bishwe na grenade. Hakaba famiye ya Bitati, Thomas Bitati, Eric Bitati na Dudu Bitati, abo baratwitwe. Famiye ya Zaroti yarimo Nyahoza Zaroti, Bebe Zaroti, abo bararashwe bishwe n'amasasu no gutwikwa. Famiye Kanyabitabo, famiye Kanyabitabo irimo Odia Kanyabitabo, Neza Kanyabitabo, abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu. Famiye Musafiri Hoga yarimo Chantal Musafiri Hoga, Nyamugisha Hoga na Patience Musafiri, abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu. Harimo famiye Gapingi, Nyabihogo Gapingi,
Yes.
Famiye Gapingi irimo Nyabihogo Gapingi, Claude Gapingi, Gisele Gapingi. Nyabihogo bo yishwe ngo n'amasasu, Claude na Gisele abo bavuga ko babatemye. Famiye ya Musafiri yarimwo Lydia Musafiri, Samuel Musafiri, bombi bishwe n'amasasu. Famille Mandevu yarimwo Lea Mandevu, Muhorana Mandevu, abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu. Famille ya Butoto yarimwo Cheche Butoto, Cheche Butoto, Fisto Butoto, Mupenzi Butoto, abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu. Famille Mahinga yarimo Famille Mahinga yarimo Munezero Muhire, Nyabyinshi Muhire, abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu.
Kayonga arakoze. Uwo Cheche mu bavuze ni Mushenge, hapfuyemo na kaka uwo munsi wa 2004. Niyo mpamvu ni ibintu bikora ku bantu benshi. Urumva n'abantu baje kudusura before ya 2004, nyuma ya 2004, nyuma ya mbese mbere ya 2004 nibwo baje kudusura, nyuma y'uwo mwaka baza kubica. Reka dukomereze kuri famille Minyati. Harimo Faustin Minyati, Kadafi Minyati, Merewe neza Minyati na Nyanome Minyati. Famille Rutekereza harimo Jacques Rutekereza, Mushamba Rutekereza, Igira neza Rutekereza, Nyamasoso Rutekereza, Ndatabaye Rutekereza, Nyazahabu Rutekereza na Nyamuryango Rutekereza. Famille Gasosi harimo Eraste Byambu, harimo Perusi Gasosi, hariho Nyamuhumure Gasosi, n'Abahoza Gasosi na Deborah Gasosi. Famille Nyamusore harimo Nyamusore Karaha, Deborah Nyamusore, Ntarutwa Nyamusore, Kayonga Nyamusore, Ngezayo Nyamusore na Bebe Nyamusore. Muri famille Rukamirwa harimo Oze Rukamirwa, Marisiane Rukamirwa na Bisetsa Rukamirwa. Famille Haizuru harimo Fille Haizuru, harimo na Fille Haizuru. Famille Gatoni harimo Mugotwa Gatoni, Nyabyiza Gatoni, Deborah Gatoni na Aime Gatoni. Famille Muhimuzi, abo bantu n'abantu tuvukana, harimo Elias Muhimuzi, hariho Munoni Muhimuzi, Merewe neza Muhimuzi. Famille Shemu harimo Marisiana Shemu na Esperance Shemu. Next.
Turakomeza dusome amazina ariko nibagiye gusobanurira umuvandimwe nayo udayumva ururimi. I just wanted to we're reading the names of the Gatumba massacre survivors, and we're reading the names and the way the person was killed during the victims. Yes. I'll continue reading the names, and azokomeza nsoma amazina y'indi miryango. Hariho n'imiryango irimo umuntu umwe nza kuza kurangirizaho naho ndaza kuvuga. I'll be reading the list of victims, and then there's the last session where the last part where there's one person that was killed during the massacre and one person per family. Famille Muvange Simon, yarimo Munezero Muvange, Edouard Muvange na mama wiwe Mama Muvange. Abo bose bishwe n'amasasu. Famille Maronko Kagigi, yarimo Zera Maronko, Nyambo Maronko, Jeanne Maronko, Shatse Maronko. Abo bishwe n'amasasu, abandi barabateme. Famille Serugarukira Antoine, yaguyemo Nyabitanga Serugarukira, Nyantebuka Serugarukira. Abo nabo bishwe n'amasasu. Famille Runagana, yarimo Manase Runagana, Gaterana Runagana, Mukobwa Runagana. Abo nabo baratwitswe. Famille Gasungunu, yarimo Antonia Gasungunu, David Gasungunu, baratwitswe ndetse baza no kubarasa. famiye ngakazi yarimwo Ignace ngakazi Bwana, Emmanuel ngakazi, Daniel ngakazi. Abo nabo bararashwe. Ignace ngakazi uwo yaratwitswe. Famiye Karara yarimo Nyakiza Karara, Nezia Ngwabi Karara. Abo nabo bararashwe. Famiye Ngirabakunzi Rukanirwa yarimo Nyagakobwa Ngirabakunzi, Bebe Ngirabakunzi. Abo nabo bararashwe. Famiye Gasore Bunana yarimo Gasore Bunana Mukunde Gasore. Abo nabo bararashwe. Abo nza gusoma umuntu umwe muri buri famiye, ibo ndabasoma bose carimwe. Harimo famiye Munyakuri yarimo Debora Mukobwa Jana Munyakuri. Famiye Rugeza yarimo Jeannette Murora Isaac. Famiye Ndagiro yarimo Odia Ndagiro. Famiye Gahakanyi yarimo haguyemo Mado Gahakanyi. Famiye Gafirita yaguyemo Nyamubyeyi Gafirita. Famiye Zuzi yaguyemo Nyamunezero Zuzi. Famiye Ruganza haguyemo Kajeyi Ruganza. Famiye Muzuri haguyemo Ndayishimiye Muzuri. Famiye Rushaga haguyemo Nyamajana Rushaga. Famiye Rugabo haguyemo Nyangore Rugabo. Famiye Kazingo haguyemo Bizimana Kazingo. Hariho famiye Seruhungu haguyemo Nyamatungo Seruhungu. Famiye Maria haguyemo Sifa Maria. Famiye Ndakanirwa haguyemo Andre Ndakanirwa. Famiye Rushemuka haguyemo Gombe Rushemuka. Famiye Bizimana haguyemo Kazingo Bizimana. Famiye Nzungu haguyemo Michel Nzungu. Famiye Rusekeza haguyemo Gikwerere Rusekeza. Famiye Nyantonesha haguyemo Nyantonesha tarindi zina bashizeho. Famiye Ruhumuriza haguyemo Nyakirindo Ruhumuriza. Famiye Binyonyo haguyemo Afande Binyonyo. Famiye Semuhoza haguyemo Rwigema Semuhoza Tshisekedi. Famiye Ndasarara haguyemo Mugiraneza Ndasarara. Famiye Gwibagiza hagwamo Espoire Gwibagiza. Famiye Michel Zikama haguyemo Murorunkwere Michel Zikama. Hakaba famiye Sekabumba haguyemo Rodrigue Niyonkuru Sekabumba. Abo bose nabarashwe. Andi mazina ngiye gusoma ni famiye z'Ababembe zari kumwe n'Abanyamurenge mu nkambi, nabo baguye muri ubu bwicanyi. Ndahera kuri famiye Nyapamba haguyemo Sadi Nyapamba, Bahati Nyapamba. Abo bararashwe. Famiye Rurinda haguyemo Abwe Paul Rurinda na Delphine Biamone. Abo bararashwe. Hakaba famiye Batubula haguyemo Regine Batubula. Famiye Aochi haguyemo Leo Aochi. Famiye Bakoi haguyemo Asukulu Bokele. Famiye Mbelechi haguyemo Echa Mbelechi. Famiye Walukele haguyemo Lukele Walukele. Famiye Mambo hagwamo Angalisho Mambo. Famiye Sumari haguyemo Evariste Sumari. Famiye Kiza haguyemo Jeannette Kiza. Famiye Wisumbelo haguyemo Wisumbelo. Famiye Ndaro haguyemo na Mirenge Ndaro. Akaba ariho n'abandi bantu babiri batwitswe imibiri yabo ntabwo babashingira ngo kuyimenya nibaruko. Nabo ni list ya victime y'abaguye mu Gatumba.
Those are all the list of the victims. Thank you for reading the list.
ni liste y'abantu bagera ku 156 na batatu.
Of 163.
Abo ni abantu bishwe mu ijoro rimwe,
Those are people that died in one night.
bari baryamye nk'uko abandi baryama,
They were just sleeping.
bari bafite amaproje y'ejo nk'uko nawe uyafite y'ejo,
They had dreams for tomorrow just like you and I,
ariko barishwe.
but they're gone.
Hejuru yabo dufite abandi bagendana inkovu.
On top of that, we have people that are walking with visible scars.
Abafite amasasu bagira mu maguru
People that have bullets
cyangwa ku bindi bice
fragments
by'imibiri yabo,
and other parts of their body.
hanyuma kutabihesha agaciro. Sinzi icyo uhesha agaciro icyo ari cyo mu buzima bwawe.
So to not value a day like this, I'm not sure.
Ndatekereza ko tumaze kumenya abo bantu.
I'm sure we have come to know those people.
Reka mbasabe duhaguruke,
Let me ask you all to stand up.
hanyuma nimba bishoboka ko batuzimiriza aya matara
And if it's possible, if we can turn off the lights
kugira ngo duheshe aba bantu agaciro, kandi mu cyizere cyo kuvuga ngo ibi nubwo byaba byarabaye ntabwo tuzazima.
so that we just take a moment to remember.
Turaza gukoresha urumuri rw'amatelefone yacu. Abafite amatelefone
If you can turn on the lights on your phone,
nibyo turi buze gukoresha,
that's what we're going to use.
hanyuma twese turayazamura gutya nk'icyizere cyo kuvuga ngo ntituzazima.
We're lifting it up as a sign of saying we have hope.
Ufate nk'iminota nk'itatu tekereze kuri abo bantu. Nongeye kubaha mpore,
I'm going to say sorry again.
mwihangane kandi mukomere.
Be hopeful and be strengthened.
Tugiye kugera ku mwanya wo kumva ubuhamya,
We are going to make some testimonies,
ariko hari abo bikomerera batabasha gutanga ubuhamya bwa buri munsi.
but it's hard for some people and they're not able to give their testimony.
Kandi ubwo batanze ni bwa bundi bukomeza kuba ari ubuhamya.
And what they have said before, it's still the same.
Mushiki wacu Joy ntiyabashije kuboneka aha hantu,
Joy was not able to be here tonight,
kandi biranamugora gusubira mu buhamya bw'ibyo bintu,
and it's a bit difficult for her to repeat.
ariko ni ukwibuka kugira ngo twiyubake. Ntabwo ari ukwibuka kugira ngo duhore, ni ukwibuka kugira ngo twiyubake kandi n'imitima yacu ibohoke.
It is so that we remember and our hearts somewhat have closure.
Nimba babashe kwibona ku buhanga bw'ibyuma, hanyuma babashe kubona ubuhamya bwe yatanze.
nibwo bwa mbere ryibagirane turi shanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane nitwe rumuri ruzamurike imicamo iwacu umuco ugakwira hose.
ndibuka ijoro ry'umwijima ije ari buryaduka abacu bambuga ubuzima mu gatumba nibwo twumvise inkuru idukubita nk'inkuba ariko ntitwapfa inkubirane za nkora amaraso zari zizi ngo byarangiye nta bapfira gushira turi imizi ishinze ishimangiye idashobora kurandurwa tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane turi umuco uzamurika Afurika turi bato batari gito turi amashami ashibuka buri munsi turi imfura zidateye ipfunwe turi bazima bazira ikizinga ntituri ikizira twakuriye ku mata azira amatiku ntawe dutuze umututu ngo tumutoteze cyangwa tumuhotore ariko mwe muri ibivume nka Kayini mwe mwamenye amaraso y'inzirakarengane atagira ingano narasesenguye nsanga muri ibigwari mwe mwifuzaga gusibanganya ibigwi by'umurenge muduca ibihanga ubuhanga n'uburanga ubwenge n'ubugenge byacu byibagirane mu isi mwarasebye.
More, 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 murenge, more bwoko bwanjye, turi shanga ritazima, ngo ryibagirane, turi shanga ritazima, ngo ryibagirane, nitwe rumuri ruzamurikira imicamo iwacu umuco ugakwira hose.
tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane Gatumba aho twahungiye dutorotse ubuhiri namwe mudutwikira mu mahema ese ubu koko ubuhemu niyo mwambaro mwambara mukabegwa sinzibagirwa ijoro ry'umwijima amarira yabaye nk'amariba mu marembo amarembo yasamira abacu ijoro rimwe rihinduka ubwira kabiri karindwi turindagira tutazi iyo tugana gusa tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane Gatumba Gatumba waduteye intimba imitima iratutumba watumize bunguri abungeri bacu n'abato b'ibitambambuga mubazize umutumba muto harya ngo ibo si abantu sha umuntu ninde umuntu n'ubumuntu dukubura amakimbirane twimika umuco w'ubumwe yaduhanze n'imwe twese ntawahisemo indoro cyangwa indesho ye uko dusa niko twisanze turibuka twiyubaka turibuka imfura zacu zakubiswe udufuni indoro zitsimbura indirimbo dogora tudafite uduhoza ubutabera bw'isi burarebera ariko impanda nivuga muzahabwa impembo y'ingoyi kuko mwaduteje ingorane nimuhumure abacubikiwe mu nkambi ubu bambitswe amakamba nubwo ababyeyi bahindutse incike imfubyi n'abapfakazi nimwihangane abasigaye ntituzabasiganya tuzabasigasira tubasindagize ntimuzasabiriza duhari umuco wacu wo gutabarana turawuzirikana tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane yari umusizi uganje ku ngamba nyiringanzi itagimba umusore utari umusozi ndabagaza Abuneri imfura y'umurenge barakabyare.
More, 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 murenge, more bwoko bwanjye, turi shanga ritazima, ngo ryibagirane, turi shanga ritazima, ngo ryibagirane, nitwe rumuri ruzamurike imica
Appointing the chief human resource officer swimming in problems is part of the job.
But with SAP, AI agents use all the right data to make sure nothing stops you or your people.
Humura murenge, humura muryango. General Makanika, fura yadufubitse. Tupfuye urasinziriye kuko wapfiriye ubusa basize. Sinzira wiruhukire mu mahoro.
Please be patient and
umuntu yarimo avamo ikinya akunze kubona ko abantu bamuri iruhande.
Thank you. Mwiriwe mwese.
How are you, everybody?
Ndagerageza kuvuga ikinyamurenge.
I'm gonna try to speak ikinyamurenge.
Ninanigwa ndavanga hanyuma hadasoza hindura.
If she's not able, she's just gonna mix up and then we'll go together from there.
Jewe bizabingora kuvuga testimony.
It's really hard for me to speak about my testimony.
Nibwo bwa mbere kija kuvuga imbere y'abantu.
It is my first time speaking in front of people.
Buri mwaka iyo nageza mbitekereza kubivuga.
Every year when I thought about speaking of what happened to me,
nageza n'abanyumva tangiye kujuguma.
I will feel like I'm out of my body, so I'll be shaking.
Kamanyumva umuhogo utangiye kugara.
And then my throat just shuts down and then I can't speak.
Ariko ndagerageza uyu munsi.
But today I'm going to do my best.
Kamvuge bukeya anjewe banyita Joy Mugenza.
My names are Joy Mugenza.
Ndi umusita nkaba umwishwa w'abagorora.
I am umusita and umwishwa w'abagorora.
Nabukiye muri Zura.
I was born in Bura.
Naciye muri iriya ntambara muri Zura yo muri 1998.
I was in the war that was in Bura in 1998.
Niyo ntambara ya mbere nabonye.
That was the first war I experienced.
Ariko njewe kubera nari umwana hariho n'abazeyi bariko bamprotectinga nabonye n'ubuzima nyine ntacyo nje zantwaye.
Ariko I mean, because I was a kid and my parents were protecting me, I really don't have any recollection of it.
Bwa mbere nabonye abantu bapfuye ngira ngo sinzi nima memory yanje itazibuka neza ariko nibuka igihe twavuye muri Zura tugiye Kalemi.
The first time we went from Bura and going to Kalemi,
hariho uruzi twaciyeho hanyuma urwo ruzi nabonye ngo abantu imirambo y'abantu.
So we passed through a certain ocean or lake, and then there was bodies of people in there. I remember.
Sinzi nimba ari iyihe ntambara yari yabaye ariko nuko nje nzibuke uko nabibona.
I'm not sure of what war was happening there, but that's what I remember vividly.
Twaragiye tuva muri Zura tuja Uvira.
We went from Bura to Uvira.
Muri Uvira twarahabaye mu mahoro nje nari umwana ntakibazo cari gihari.
In Uvira we lived there. It was fine for me. There was no problem.
Ndibuka umunsi umwe twari twicaye imbere y'inzu yacu hanyuma sinzi intambara yari kuba ako twariko tureba kurera misozi jaruguru twicaye.
I remember we were sitting by our house and I could see mountains.
Hanyuma ukamubona amasasu n'amamombe ahagenda atambuka tukicara hanze gusa tukayireba.
And then you will see like on top of the mountain you will see bullets and like across bullets fire just going across. And it didn't really scare us as much because I think it was just a part of our lives. When you go through such a thing you become almost numb and you feel like it's just normal.
Sinibuka umunsi twagiye mu Gatumba ariko ndibuka yuko igihe turimo kwitegura kugenda mama yari yambwiye ngo nje ndaja ruguru nje gusanga bakaka ariho tuzobana hanyuma aje mu Gatumba na murumuna wanje.
So the day we were supposed to go in Gatumba, I think I remember my mom telling me that I was supposed to go back to my grandparents and then she will go in Gatumba with my little brother.
Hanyuma umunsi wanyu mugeze ahita aravuga ngo yango je ndasigarana nawe tujane mu Gatumba hanyuma murumuna musaza wanje muto yakuri njewe abari ugenda aja kubana na bakaka.
So on that day when we're supposed to move, my mother said I'm going to end up going with her in Gatumba and then my brother is going to go back with my grandparents.
Hanyuma nje na mama turaza mu Gatumba na murumuna wanje muto yari yitwa David ubwo yari afite imyaka 3 igihe byabaye.
So we went, me, my mother and my little brother David. I believe David at that time he was 3 years old.
kuko nyine nari ndi umwana kuba mu nkambi je ntaco byari bintwaye nari ndi kumwe n'inshuti zanje twagiza dukina kuko bisanzwe so nta kibazo nje nari mbifitiye.
Living in refugee camp, it was not really a big concern for me because I was a child. I didn't have any other way to think of it, and I had friends and I play with my friends. It was like a normal life actually.
Hanyuma reka nje nihute mvuge ura munsi byabaye mu bisanzwe abana bo mu Gatuma twageza dukina gushika ijoro rigi twageza dukina amagame menshi yo kugenda tureba abantu kuko abantu begamiye tente ukaza bakubita n'inkoni or something and then tugakina ijoro ryose.
So back there when we used to live in refugee camp, we would play until like the whole night when the sun sets. So and it was pretty fun.
Hanyuma uwo munsi twagiye kuryama hakiri kare sinzi impamvu twagiye kuryama hakiri kare kubera abantu bazambwira ngo zatangiye ngo saa 4 z'ijoro.
So for some reason, people say that we went to bed early that day, but I'm not sure because usually people say that it started around 10 p.m.
Icyo nibuka nuko mama yaje aramzutsa arambwira ngo nimzuke nambara amahuzu.
What I remember is my mother came and said, dress up and we're gonna go.
Hanyuma hari aro agatobore kuri tente yacu.
There was a little hole in our tent.
Hanyuma ndebamwo nshiramwe ijisho ndareba.
And then I looked in that little hole.
Hanyuma nje izo nariko mbona ni utuntu dutukura gusa twako du flying about.
So what I could see in the tent, it was little, almost like fireworks, but it was bullets flying through.
Hanyuma mbona nyumva abantu batangiye kwamiriza abantu benshi matente bari batwegereye kumva abantu bamiriza ariko sinarinzi kiyaki bahanze y'itente yacu.
So I heard people screaming and I would hear people scream, but I didn't understand what was happening behind the tent.
Mama amaze kumbwira ngo nyambare ngo twatewe ndambara amahuzu hanyuma turicara mbona abantu bamwe batangiye gusohoka nyuma y'itente yacu.
So my mom told me to dress up. I dressed up and then I saw people from the back of the tent. They were exiting.
Hanyuma mama aravuga ngo reka ace
ukuntu amatente yari ameze yari itente nini anyibika bigawuyemwo kugira ngo family yose ifite aga privacy gakeya. So the way the tent were, it was like one big huge tent and then there was a division or little things to divide different families so that they could have a little privacy. Hanyuma mama aravuga ngo gusatura itente hano hanyuma ngo ducemwo. So my mom said she's going to cut a little bit of the tent so that we can have a way to exit. Hanyuma amaze kuikata agisohoka gutya twahise tubona umuntu yari ahagaze ahangaha imbere yacu. So after she cut the tent, there was a person in front of us when she cut the tent. Hanyuma icyo nibuka nabonye gusa mama asubira inyuma agwa hasi. What I remember is my mom fell backwards and I believe she was shot. And she didn't say any word. She just fell backwards. Mbere y'ikuzo yaranyicaje arambwira ngo mubabarire ngo nimba hari icyo arambwira ngo mubabarire nimba hari icyo yakoze kirambabaza naje ndambwira ngo mbabarire hanyuma nico gihe twagiye tugiye gusohoka. So before that she had told me to forgive her if I did something wrong to upset her. And then asinibuka aho murumuna yanje wanje yararaye mu mwanya. I don't really remember where my brother was at that time. Icyo numvishe ikintu kinkubise hano. All I heard was something hit me on the side and those were bullets. Ntago byariko yobaza wari kumva gusa nk'ikintu gifite force kigukubise cyane. So the way I could describe it, it's like something hard just hitting you. Hanyuma sinzi cyabaye naje kwisanga nsanga nicaye hanze y'itente yacu. So I am not sure what happened after the bullet hit me. I found myself standing just behind the tent. Sinzi nimba narikuruye nje nyine cyangwa nimba hari umuntu waje aramfasha aransohora. I'm not sure if I pulled myself or somebody pulled me. I'm not sure. Icyo nibuka nuko gusa nabonye undi mwana twari tubana wari bitwa ngo Debora nabonye ari ku muryango bamurashe mu umutwe wabaye open. All I remember is this girl named Deborah. I saw her, who we grew up together, and her head was cut in half. Hanyuma mbona matente atangiye gusha. And then I saw the tents were on fire. Hanyuma mbona mama arimo gusha. And I saw my mom burning. Hanyuma ndicara ngaho sinzi cyari ko bica mu mutwe kubera nari navuye barandashe hano ku buryo nashize ku bitaro ukazibona indani mu mubiri. So what I remember is they shot me on my side, and when I got to the hospital, you could just see the insides of me. Hanyuma bandasa ku kuguru kubera ukuntu amagufa yari yamenetse kwari kwabaye nkuku sinariko mbasha kukugorora. And they also shot me in the leg, and I couldn't stretch my legs straight. Hanyuma naricara aho ngaho ndareba gusa amatenda ahasha mbona abantu babirukanka basubira mu bihuru byari bitwegereye.
So I just sat there and I saw the tents burning, and I saw people running into the bush to seek for refuge.
Hanyuma hari umugabo umwe waje ancaho arahagarara hanga iruhande rwanje akazambwira ngo abantu bashize ngo bandashe ngo uko ndapfa simwibuka umugabo.
And there was a man who kept telling me people are dying, somebody shot me, but I don't remember his name and I don't remember who he is. But he was saying I'm dying.
Hanyuma maze mbonaga sinzi nimba ari abantu bacu bariko bashaka gushaka aho bakirira aribo bariko biruka mu ishamba cyangwa ari bajya abantu bamaze kutwica bahabagenda.
I'm not sure who he was, but there were people running in the bush and there were people coming towards the tents.
Maze mbona ico nibuka kandi nuko bari badushize mu bisi bagiye kudutwara mu bitaro. And what I remember is that they put us in the bus and they were taking us to the hospital. Ibisi yari yuzuye abantu
ariko basanga bari kuntebe n'abandi baryamye hasi.
The bus was so full. There were people on the chair of the bus, people on the ground.
Hanyuma badutwara i Bujumbura mu bitaro.
And then they took us in Bujumbura in the hospital.
Ibitaro byari byuzuye ariko usanga abantu baryamye hasi mu bitaro gusa kubera ntago bari bafite ibitanda bibakwiriye.
Because the hospital was so full, there were people laying just on the ground because there was no room or beds.
Hanyuma jewe ico nibuka sinza nibuka uko musaza wanje yapfuye ariko hari umuntu waje arambwira ngo baramubonye ngo ahasha ngo harira ngo ashaka umuntu ngumufasha.
I don't really remember how my brother died. All I remember is somebody telling me that they saw him burning and he was crying for help.
Hanyuma tuja mu bitaro dushitse mu bitaro nibuka ibitaro ko byari byitwa.
So we went to the hospital. I don't remember what was the name of the hospital.
Ariko nari mu bitaro n'abandi bakobwa baba muri undi mukobwa muri wese ngo ni Nyakazungu hamwe na mama wiwe.
But I was in the same hospital with a lady named Nyakazungu and her mom. She lives in the States.
Turi mu bitaro baratubwira ngo abantu ngo baje ngo ko barashaka abantu mu bitaro ngo basobabize ngo kugira ngo babice.
And then they said to us, you know, those people who killed you, they're coming and they're seeking for the people who are alive so that they can finish them up.
Hanyuma baraza abadoktere baraza baratumovinga batujana handi hantu ukuye muri zo bitaro twari turimwo.
So the doctors came and they removed us from that hospital because we were already in danger.
Igihe bino zabanje sinibuka sinigeze ndirangira.
When all this happened, I don't remember myself even crying.
Tugomba kurwanya n'imbaraga zacu zose. Nta n'ubundi butabera dutekereza twabona nkuko Joy yabivuga. Ubutabera bwo gutekereza ko tuzabuhabwa n'abandi abangaba tubusaba. Ntabwo ari bo batanga ubutabera. Ubutabera bwa mbere nuko twebwe twenyine tubanza kumva tubabajwe n'ibyatubaye. Nimba udahesha agaciro ibi bintu utaza kwibuka aba bantu. Sike byarakubabaje cyangwa ntibyakubabaje. Mwihangane mumbabarira. Turakomeje aba turangije kuvuga ubuhamya turangije kumva nubwo wabaye mu Gatumba. Dufite abandi babonye za Karemi, dufite ababonye
kuburyo ntago byari ko registering ariko abantu bapfuye.
I was so shocked that I was so numb to a point that in my head my subconscious was not registering that, you know, people died. This is a war. We're in a war zone.
Sinabitekereje gushika maze gukura nico gimubabaro wanjemwo mbona kumenya understanding yuko nta muvyeyi mfite. Napfushije na murumuna wanje kandi nige nari ndaho mu Burundi nta barumuna bakuru wanje na barumuna wanje nta wundi numwe wari uri Bujumbura.
So when I became older, that's when I came to understand the pain, and I came to understand that, oh, okay, what happened to me was a war, and I had nobody, and that's when I came to understand that I lost my mother and I lost my brother, and at that time I was no longer with my siblings either. So when I was older is when I came to understand what had happened to me, because for some time so long I was in deep shock that I couldn't even bring myself to remember what happened.
Nico mpamuje mbona ibyo mu Gatumba byagiye affectinga uko ndimo gukura cha muri stages zinshi cyane blaminga mama kabona ari igituma naciye muri biriya zo mu Gatumba barandesa ni impamvu ye nkazavuga ngo yaba yarandetse nkaja ruguru wa munsi ibi ntago byari kumbaho.
So deep down, when I was growing up, I truly blamed my mother for the things that happened, because I said if I was to go back with my grandparents, this wouldn't have happened to me. And I would say to myself, you know, all these things that happen is because my mom me here.
Hanyuma bikiba buri munsi nageze ngira inzozi kaguma mbibona kaguma mbona muri munanje harira akabura umuntu mutabara hanyuma gasha bikambabaza cyane.
When it was happening, after it happened, I would have nightmares about it, and I would see my brother crying for help and my mom being shot, and I was so helpless because it was in my dream and I couldn't stop it.
Shika n'umunyene nzanguma nyi blaming akavuga ngo yaba naramenye ahari ahubwo nkamusavinga nubwo je taba nararokotse ahubwo nkamusavinga kubera nza ntekereza aho yaba ari ubunyene mu muzima bikambabaza kuvuga ngo kundubo twara ubuzima bw'umwana ungana kuriya.
So I think to myself and I say, I wish I had saved my brother, because, you know, he was only 3 years old. And I say, what a such tragedy that somebody will kill a 3 years old. And sorry. And then I was saying to myself, you know, if I would have saved him, he would have been further in life because he was younger and he had so much things to look forward to, versus, you know, me being alive.
Hanyuma bugiye tuza kwibuka abantu bakavuga ngo nituvuga ibyabaye ngo ni kugira ngo tubone justice. Hanyuma jewe nageza mbona nubwo uriya muntu agatoga asaba umufunga ntaco je byomarira. Zamona ntago mama yogaruka ntago nyosubirayo ngo ntangire childhood yanje neza kuvuga ngo uriya muntu aje muri prison je nageza mbona ntana kimwe zomarira ku buzima bwanje.
So when I was growing up and we would do Gatumba memorial to remember those who died, I would think to myself, like, even if they arrest the people who are responsible for this, what is it going to do? It's not going to bring my mother back. It's not going to bring my brother back. So to me, I just felt like it was pointless.
Hanyuma especially cyane bira bintu za ruguru bitangiye kuba kavuga ngo twebwe twabaye muri 2022 tumaze imyaka irenga 16 tu protesting gushaka justice abantu bakatubona. Hanyuma bira bintu za ruguru bigasubira kuba kamambura icyizero cyose yuko tuzokwigera tubona icyo dushaka.
So and then the war that continued back home and the killing of our people was happening, and I said it's been almost 16 years and we're asking for justice and we're unheard and nobody has come to help us, and I'm saying to myself, like, this is hopeless, and I lost all faith.
N'ubu nyene ntabwo ndizera yuko nibamufunga kizomfasha, ariko hari abantu benshi basurvivinze babona yuko ira justice ihabaye ibo zobaha amahoro. Niyo mpamvu jewe nta kibazo mfite cyo kuba supportinga. Ni mpamvu navuze uyu munsi nukubera abenshi ari zo mwe duherutse gukora, hari abasobabe benshi bavuze nabonye abantu ntarabona kuva myaka nk'16, and they just encourage me ngo sharing a testimony ngo irashaka gufasha uwundi muntu wabinyuzemwo. Niyo mpamvu mpambikora kubera sinzamo naho justice izova nje.
So the main reason why I'm speaking today is because, you know, I saw people when I was giving my testimony through Zoom, I saw people I haven't seen in 16 years and people I didn't know, and people who went through the same thing as me, and they said, and they encouraged me and they said, you know, share your story, have the strength, have courage to share it because it might help somebody else. But to be honest, personally, I'm only doing this for those people because I feel like even if people are held responsible, what was lost cannot be gained.
Murakoze cyane. That's
all.
What I'm going to speak of is the war that happened in 1989. 98.
Yes.
1998, sorry.
So, harimo imibare ntakundi turayihanganira igihe gusa. so icyo gihe njyewe intambara ije kuba nari mbana na mukuru wanje mu Rwanda.
At that time, before the war was there, I was living in Rwanda with my brother.
Nigaga muri primary.
I was in primary school.
Noneho kubera urukumbuzi rwaho umuntu yavukiye,
because of missing where I'm from,
nasabye mukuru wanje ko nje gusura ababyeyi.
I asked my brother so that I can go visit our parents
muri vacances
for a vacation.
Kandi numvaga mbishaka.
And I felt like I wanted it.
Kubera nari ngize imyaka myinshi ntababona.
Because I haven't seen them for many years.
Musaba ko nja kubasura.
So I asked to go for a visit.
Aho niho ubuhamya bwanje butangirira.
That is the beginning of my testimony.
Navuye i Kigali.
I left Kigali.
Ndi kumwe n'abandi bantu bari bagiye muri Congo.
With other people who are also heading to Congo.
Turagenda ndari Cyangugu.
We slept in Cyangugu.
Turangije tuja i Bukavu.
Then we went to Bukavu.
I Bukavu mpahurira n'abandi bavyara banje bari bagiye muri Byura.
And then I found my cousins in Bukavu who were heading to Byura.
Numva meze neza.
And I felt good.
Then mpahura n'abandi twari duturanye mu muhana.
I also met some neighbors.
B'abasirikare bari bagiye gusura ababyeyi babo.
Who were soldiers going to visit the family.
Numva ndisanze.
And I felt well.
Numva ndahumuritse.
And I was at peace.
None barambwira ko turi kumwe tuzagenda dushika amahoro.
And then they said to me, now that we're heading there, we will go together and we'll be safe.
Dufata imodoka turagenda tugera Uvira.
We went by a car. We got in Uvira.
Ariko dushitse Uvira twaraye mu nzu z'abasirikare.
When we got in Uvira, we slept in the houses of the soldiers.
Batubwira ko tudashobora kugenda Kalemi.
Then they said to us, we cannot go to Kalemi.
Kubera hari yatangiye kuba umutekano muke.
Because of safety issue.
Ubwo hari mu kwezi kwa munani.
That was in August.
And then nihuse then tuhamara iminsi i Uvira.
So we spent a couple of days in Uvira.
Baza kutubonera bato idutwara Kalemi.
And then they found a boat that would take us to Kalemi.
A ship.
Sheep.
Yes.
A ship.
No turagenda tugeze Kalemi.
So when we got there to Kalemi.
Ariko turi ku Uvira tugiye kuja muri bato.
But let me go back a little bit. When we're in Uvira, before we enter into the sheep.
Nibwo twatangiye kugira ibibazo.
That's when we kind of had problems.
Abasirikare twari turi kumwe.
The soldiers that were together.
Batangiye kujya kubaka intwaro zabo.
They started taking their weapons away.
Baranga.
And they refused.
Barangije icyo gihe batwaye amafaranga yanjye nari mfite.
And then they took my money.
Batwara n'igikapu canje.
And my bag.
So turagenda tumara iminsi ibiri mu bwato.
So we went in that ship for like 2 days.
Tugeze Kalemi.
When we got to Kalemi.
Nabwo abandi bavandimwe bari basigarana ibintu naho ngaho naho buzagendeye.
And other people who had things they were taken away from them.
Twara abantu nka 15.
We were about 15 people.
Tugeze aho ngaho tuza gushaka aho turara.
So when we got there, we tried to find a place to sleep.
Tuza kumenya ko papa Byiringiro ese wa Gafoto.
The father of Gafoto.
Yaratuye Kalemi.
We figured out that he lives in Kalemi.
Baramuhamagara araza dutwara iwiwe.
They called him and then he took us to his place.
Noneho atubonye ararira cyane.
When he saw us, he cried so much.
Atubaza iyo turi kuja niyo turi kuva.
He said, where are you coming from? Where are you going?
Aratubwira ati nta kibazo mwaje ariko turapfana byanze bikunze.
And he said, you guys are here, but I feel like we're gonna die together.
Aratwakira tuharara.
So he welcomed us. We slept there.
N'abo basirikare.
With those soldiers.
Then noneho atangira kudushakira uburyo tuja muri Byura.
And then he tried to find a way for us to go to Byura.
Yaturwanyeho cyane.
He helped us a lot.
And then nyuma y'iminsi 7 tubona imodoka.
So after 7 days there, we found a car.
Turagenda aratwishurira twese kubera ko amafaranga yacu bari bayatwaye yose.
And he paid for us because all of us didn't have any money left because they took it from us.
Mboneho no kumushimira hari yaturwanyeho.
We thank him whatever he is. He really cared for us.
And then noneho dufata imodoka turagenda tugeze muri Byura.
And then we got to
noneho numva ndishimye,
and then I was happy,
even though nubwo ntari mfite n'ikintu na kimwe byose bari barabitwaye,
even though I didn't have anything left.
nuko mama na papa baragenda bangurira indi myenda ndambara.
So my parents went from bought me some clothes, so I was able to dress up.
Ariko mu mutima wanjye nari nishimye kubera ko nari nsanze ababyeyi.
But in my heart, I was happy because I was united with my parents again.
Turaba ngaho umunsi wa 4.
So on the 4th day,
hageze,
when I got there,
nibwo twatangiye kugira ibibazo.
That's when we encountered some problems.
Ku itariki 14
on the 14th
z'ukwezi kwa 8
of August
muri 1998
in 1998.
Yes. Nibwo natangiye kubona ko intambara yabaye.
That's when I saw that there was a war going on.
Noneho papa arambwira ati jewe ngiye kujana murumuna wanje yararwaye.
My brother was sick.
Gisore.
My brother Gisore was sick.
Amujyana kwa muganga.
So he took him to the doctor.
Arambwira ati ndamutwaye ariko sinzi ko ndibugaruke kubera ko gahunda zahindutse.
I'm taking him to the hospital, but I don't know if I'm gonna come back because the plans looks like they have changed.
Noneho niba arasa mushaka kumuhunga.
So if you hear the bullets, you have to run.
So buke ku itariki 15 aribwo twagize ibibazo bikomeye.
So on the 15th of August, that's when we face bigger problems.
Icyo nico gice cya kabiri cyahongiye guhera ubuhamya.
That's the second section of where I'm continuing my testimony.
Itariki 15 mu gitondo twagiye gukama nkuko bisanzwe.
On the 15th of August, we woke up and we went to go milk the cows as usual.
Abantu baje mu isoko, abantu baje guhinga uko bisanzwe.
Everybody went about their daily routine.
Ariko ngewe nagarutse mu rugo mu saa 8 za nimugoroba.
I came home around 3 p.m.
Harantu twakunda guhurira n'abavandimwe twari tungana.
There's a place where we used to meet the young people.
Hari kuri church ya Methodist.
It was a Methodist church.
Aho twari dutuye.
Where we lived.
Noneho twarahuriraga tugakina ndetse tukavuga ibyo abasore bavuga.
We would hang out there and then just play.
Turaho ngaho twari abasore batandatu.
We were about 6 young men.
Noneho tubona abasirikare baraje.
And then we saw the soldiers come.
Bahageze batangira gukubita umugabo wari imbere yacu. Mukubita.
Oh, they started hitting a man that was in front of us.
Bamukubise avuza induru cyane.
So that man started screaming.
Avugije induru twebwe tugira ngo ni ibintu bisanzwe nkuko bari basanzwe bakubita abantu.
So when he was screaming, everybody thought it was normal because soldiers can just bully people like that.
Noneho babonye iruhande rwacu hari abandi bagabo babiri birukanse bahunze.
And then on the side there was 2 other men who ran.
Birukanka baza badusanga aho twari turi.
And they were running towards us.
Noneho nico gihe batangiye kubarasa.
And that's when they started shooting.
Nibwo twabonye ko ibintu bidasanzwe.
That's when we kind of thought like this is getting serious.
Nje nari ndi kumwe n'undi muhungu w'inshuti yanjye witwa Buhiga.
I was with my friend called Muhiga.
Twari tungana.
We were around the same age.
Ariko uwo munsi.
But that day.
Iwe yanze guhunga.
He didn't want to flee.
Twatoye amabuye dutera abasirikare.
We took stones and we started throwing at the soldiers.
Tumubwira ko twirukanka duhunga.
And we said we're fleeing away.
Waranga ngo ntashobora guhunga abasirikare.
But then that friend of mine, he said, I'm not going to run away from soldiers.
Naho ngaho bamwiciye.
And that's when he died.
Yeah. So nano twebwe turiruka turahunga.
So we ran and flee.
Njewe nirukanka nja mu rugo.
So I ran going towards my home.
Buri muntu yirukanse agenda iwabo.
Everybody basically ran towards their home.
Ndi kwirukanka mu rugo iwacu.
While I was running to my home,
ntabwo nari nzi ko abasirikare bazengurutse bagiye mu muhana.
I didn't know that the soldiers had already surrounded the villages.
Ngeze mu nzira mbona bari gufata umusaza twari duturanye.
When I got there, I saw them capturing a man that we lived together.
Bashaka kumwambura iradiyo yari afite.
And they wanted to take away his radio.
Akayibima.
And that man didn't want to give it to them.
Noneho ashaka gufata imbunda yiwe yari y'abasirikare.
And he wanted to take his the soldier's gun.
Baramufata bamushira hasi.
So they captured him.
Bakomeza kwirukankana abasore kubera ko nibo bashakaga.
And they started chasing after young men because that was the agenda, to get young men.
none nge ndirukanka nari ngiye mu rugo kubera ko nari nzi ko abasirikare ba Kongo
Because I knew that the Congolese police officers
baba batwara amafaranga ndetse n'ibindi bikoresho byose
are taking money and other things that we had.
kandi nari nzi aho papa yari yabitse amafaranga kubera ko papa ntabwo yari ari mu rugo.
And I knew where my dad put the money because he wasn't home, but I knew where he safe kept the money.
ngeze mu rugo
When I got home,
ndafashe amafaranga
I took the money.
then noneho nshaka gusohoka kugira ngo nirukanke ngende.
So after I took the money from the house, I wanted to run.
noneho abasirikare mbona bageze ku muryango.
So, and then I saw the soldiers in front of the door.
ntabwo nigeze nsohoka.
So I couldn't go out.
nta nubwo nigeze nkingura urugi rwanje.
And I didn't close the door either.
mu rugo njye nasubiye mu nzu njya munsi y'igitanda.
So I went back in the house and I went to hid under the bed.
baraje binjira mu nzu.
They came and entered the house.
bamaze kwinjira mu nzu bashaka ahantu hose hashoboka.
They were searching everywhere in the house.
noneho ntibareba munsi y'igitanda kubera ko niho nari nije.
Luckily they didn't look under the bed because that's where I was.
kubera ko iyo bahansanga baba baranyishe.
Because if they would have looked under the bed, they would have killed me.
noneho ndabarindira barasohoka.
So I waited for them to get out.
bamaze gusohoka.
And after they got out,
ndasohoka hanze.
I went outside.
ndebye hanze nsanga abasirikare nibo buzuye mu muhanda.
And then outside, soldiers were everywhere in the village.
abantu bamwe bari babishe.
People had already died.
abandi babafashe.
Others were captured.
babajanye mu macaca aho ngaho twari dutuye hari hacace hari hariho churches zibiri zinini.
In the area we lived in, there was 2 churches, and other people were taken to the church.
babashira muri ayo churches.
And they put them in the church.
abandi babatwara mu kibuga cy'umupira cyari gihari.
And others they took them to the soccer field that was there. And that's where they kept them.
cyane abo bashiraga muri church n'abasore n'abagabo kubera ko babonaga bashobora kubacika.
So the people that were placed in the church were young men and other men because they thought they would escape.
Yeah. noneho abana n'abagore bakabashira muri mu kibuga cy'umupira.
So then women and little kids, they placed them in the fields.
Yewe narasohotse kubera ko hari ubundi mwene mama wacu yari yabonye ko ninjiye mu nzu.
I got out because I saw a relative of mine.
noneho agaruka aje kunshaka.
And that relative of mine came looking for me.
arampamagara sinamwumva ariko njye natekereza ko ari abantu bashobora kwihinduriza bakaza kugira ngo nsohoke banyice.
So he called me. I didn't answer because I thought maybe it was a trick.
sohotse ngeze hanze.
When I got outside,
barambona baranyirukana abasirikare.
the soldiers started chasing me.
bagenda bandasa.
They were shooting at me.
kugeza nari aho nari ndenze ahantu hari shuri rya primary.
Until I got to a little school, a primary school that was there.
niho nasanze abantu bose bari bacitse niho bari bari.
And I found out that all the other survivors were actually hiding there.
aho niho twatangira urugendo rwo gutura mu ishamba.
And that's when we started our journey of living in the forest.
uwo munsi imvura yari yaguye.
That day I remember it was raining.
sinari nzi aho papa ari.
I didn't know where my father was.
sinari nzi aho mama ari.
I didn't know where my mother was.
sinari nzi aho my sister na ba brother banjye bari bari.
I didn't know where my siblings were.
twakomeje kugenda mu ishamba nijoro.
So we continued to walk in the forest at night.
turi kumwe n'abagabo bari batuyoboye bari bacitse.
And there was men leading us.
batujyana kure cyane.
And they took us far away.
noneho turaharara mu ishamba.
So we slept in the forest.
turahirirwa.
We spent the day as well.
twahamaze iminsi 7.
We spent 7 days in the forest.
ariko kubw'amahirwe baradushakiraga ibyo turya.
Luckily they used to find us things to eat.
ariko nsubiye inyuma muri iyo night.
If I go back a little bit that night.
abantu bose bari bafashwe.
All the people that were captured.
babajyanye aho bitaga ku zone.
They would take them at a place called the zone.
babatwaraga turi kubareba.
They would take them while we could see them.
uko bagenda mu muhanda wose.
Because they would walk a distance where we could see.
ariko nsubiye inyuma muri uwo muhana uwo munsi wacu bishemo abantu 5 narabiboneye.
Going back a little bit, I remember in our village 5 people were killed that day.
bari n'umugabo w'umuhiga wari umusirikare wari waracitse ukuguru.
And there was a man from the clan of Muhiga, and he had already his leg was disabled.
we bamurasiye imbere y'inzu yiwe.
They shot him in front of his house.
Noneho tubaye mu ishamba
Going back to the forest,
nibwo ku itariki 18
on the 18th,
abaturage
the citizens,
n'abasirikare bari baje mu kiruhuko,
the civilians and the soldiers that were coming for vacation,
nibwo baje kubohoza abo bantu.
that's when they came to capture those people.
Umunsi hapfuye abantu benshi.
On that day, a lot of people died.
Ndashobora kuvuga mu mazina yabo.
I cannot name them
kuko twatinda hano.
because it will take forever.
Noneho tugarutse mu muhana.
So when we came back to the village,
twahabaye nk'ibyumweru bibiri.
We were there approximately 2 weeks.
Niwo umunsi umwe twagiye tubona baratubwiye ngo duhaguruke tugende.
So one day they came and they told us get up and go.
Njyewe sinarindi aho ababyeyi bari n'ubundi.
I wasn't where my parents were.
Narindi kumwe n'inka.
I was looking after the cows.
Numva barahamagaye.
And then I heard them call.
Ngeze mu muhana nsanga abantu bose baragiye.
And then when I got to the village, I found everybody was gone.
Ni naho pati ya gatatu itangirira.
And that's where my third section of the story
Urugendo
starts.
rwanje rwo kuza mu muhana ngasanga nta muntu n'umwe uhari.
Coming back to my village, and I was the only one in the village left.
Nageze mu rugo.
I got home.
Nsanga nta ibintu byose birahari.
Everything was as it is.
Ariko nta muntu n'umwe uhari.
But there was nobody.
Nagiye ahantu hari kuri iyo church nini.
So I went to the church.
Sangayo abasirikare.
I found soldiers there.
Sangayo data wacu.
And I saw my uncle there as well.
Barambwira ati igisigaye ni ukukuriza imodoka ukajana n'abasirikare bari bapfuye abandi bari bakomeretse.
And they said what's left is to take you, put you in the car so that you can go with the soldiers.
Ariko icyo gihe hariho n'abana batakaye.
There was also some kids that were lost.
Hano twatangira urugendo rwo kugenda mu modoka.
That's when we started traveling from the car.
Kuko ibibazo byabaye kuva muri Zura kugera Kalemi je sinayibonye.
So the issues that happened from Zura to Kalemi, I didn't really witness it.
Kandi ibyo Joy yavuze bageze ku rugo ruzi rwitwa Rukuka, impamvu yavuga ko yabonaga abantu bapfuye, bamwe muri abo ngabo baciye mu muhanda, bamwe babiciye aho ngaho.
So where Joy said in her story that she saw dead bodies in the ocean, it's actually true because when we were passing there, that's what had happened.
Nuko njyewe njyana n'abo bana n'abasirikare.
So we went together with the soldiers and those kids who were lost.
Dusanga abavandimwe mu nzira bose bari kugenda mu muhanda.
And then we found relatives walking.
Mbasaba ko bankura mu modoka baranga.
And then I asked the soldiers to let me out so that I could just walk with my relatives.
Bazahagarara bageze Kalemi.
And they said, we're not going to stop. We're going to stop when we get to Kalemi.
Nta mbaraga nari mfite zo kwikura mu modoka.
I didn't have the strength to take myself out of the car.
Nakomeje urugendo muri iyo modoka.
So we continued in the vehicle.
Muri iyo modoka hapfuye abana batatu.
In that car I was in, 3 children died.
Bapfuye kubera ko batashoboye gufata kubera ko ari umuhanda w'igitaka.
They died because they were not able to hold on because the road was muddy.
Bapfuye kubera ko bahanutse babura uko ubashobora kubaramira barapfa bose.
So they couldn't hold on to the track, so they fell and then they died.
Ubwo rugendo narwo rwari urugendo rukomeye.
That was a long journey.
Kubera ko imyenda nambaye yose niyo babashizemo babashira ku muhanda.
So the clothes I was wearing, they took it off me and then covered the kids with it.
Yeah. Noneho turakomeza turagenda.
So we continued.
Tugeze Kalemi.
When we got to Kalemi,
nabwo twahuye n'ibibazo bikomeye.
We faced other problems.
Kubera hari intambara.
Because there was war.
Byo kurya twari dufite.
There was no food.
Nabo bana twari turi kumwe nabo.
And those children were with.
Ntacyo nari mfite cyo kubaha.
I didn't have anything to give them.
Twahagiriye ibihe bikomeye.
It was hard times.
Ndabivuga mu ncamake ko ni ibintu byari bikomeye cyane.
I'm gonna cut the story short, but it was really hard.
Ntabwo twari tuzi abantu bari barasigaye mu nzira ko bazatugeraho.
We didn't know if the people that were left
abasirikare twasanze batubwira ko ari twebwe twenyine dushobora kurokoka.
In the journey, if we're gonna find them, the soldiers said it's probably you guys are the only survivors.
Twari dufite agahinda kenshi.
We were very sad.
Ntabwo twahatinze twamaze ibyumweru bitatu.
We spent about 3 weeks there.
Noneho baradufata batwinjiza muri bato batujana Uvira.
They took us in the boat and took us to Uvira.
Ariko ibaze kugenda muri bato utazi ko aho wasize bose bazashika harimo n'abavyeyi bawe n'abavandimwe.
So imagine going in a boat, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where your parents are or your relatives, or if you're gonna get there well.
Ndabivuga gutya mu ncamake ariko n'urugendo rurerure.
I'm saying this just to cut the story short, but it was really long.
Kandi abizi ko hano hari abantu bicaye barunyuzemo.
And I know there are some people who are sitting here who are survivors of that.
Ndababwira namwe muzahaguruke mutange testimony.
I encourage you to speak up and speak about what happened.
Kubera ko birafasha.
Because it helps.
Bidufasha kugira ngo tuzabone justice.
It will help us to gain justice.
Ntabwo dushobora guceceka kugira tuzabone justice.
We cannot be quiet and expect justice.
Ariko usharinze testimony yawe.
But when you share your testimony,
abantu baheraho bakashaka justice.
That's where people find the courage and the strength to seek for justice.
Rero mukomere.
Be strengthened.
Kugira ngo one day.
So that one day.
Tuzabone ubutabera.
We'll find justice.
Murakoze.
Thank you. Thank you, Bagaza. And our condolences to you. Now,
nk'uburyo bwo gutanga impanuro y'uko abantu bagomba kwitwara muri ibi bihe. Yes.
We're going to hear a speech of a child who says what we should do in times like this.
Ahanini uradukangurira kumenya uko uru rugamba rwo gushaka ubutabera tugomba kurubona uko twarusha.
It is to help us and to strengthen us and know how we are going to.
Umwanya muto pasa
I believe the video, the clip we're about to hear is about 5 minutes.
Hanyuma turaba dufite umunyamategeko tuvuga no gushaka ubutabera, dufite umunyamategeko.
And then after we have somebody from the law.
Uzana kudufasha kugica tugira mujanye n'amateka n'imyitwarire twagira mu gihe cyo gukomeza gushakisha ubutabera.
Who will give us a speech in that way.
Ariko
But
bisubiremo ngo ubutabera twari twenyine twabasha kwiha.
The justice that we can give ourselves.
Nukwegerana tugahumurizanya tutiremamo ibice.
It is to be united and not divided.
Icoco nta bandi tugiteze.
That unity, no one can give it to us except ourselves.
Ndatekereza kuko iyo message iratambutse.
Amazina yanjye nitwa Irumvaniye Queen. Nkagiye kubagezaho umuvugo nahimbiye umunsi. Bahoberanye n'urukundo Yesu ko mugana mu byubahiro byanyu nubwo turi mu gahinda ko kwibuka abacu badusize bazira uko barimo. Twebwe turiho none twagarariye benshi badukuwemo muri rya joro ritazibagirana mu mitima yacu. Ibyabaye muri iri joro mu Gatumba biragoye kubyumva ku muntu wese ugifite ubumuntu. Abacu badusize muri ririya joro ry'umwijima udasa n'indi turabiruka uyu munsi nk'abagiye ejo kandi dore imyaka ibaye 21 badusize. Intimba n'agahinda ni byinshi ibikomere biracyari bibisi amarira aratemba mu maso imitima iracyababaye. Gusa nubwo bimeze bityo twibuke kubabarira kuko ibihe bidasubira inyuma cyangwa ngo ibije bitugarurira abacu twabuze. Kandi burya kubabarira niyo ntambwe ya mbere yo gukira. Abo twahungiyeho batweretse ko ari Rwanda batutamika ubutinda wo kuturinda ababandi. Ububi bwabo baraduhanda batujugunya mu bigunda no mu mihanda baduhindura umwanda baradukanda badukoramo umuganda. Ndabyibutse. Ndibuka wa munsi wasaga n'indi ufite amasaha 24 nk'ibisanzwe ariko mu kwira kwawo udasanzwe kuko watuzaniye ibidasanzwe nk'ibyadusanze twisanzuye kuko twari tuzi ko abo dusanze badusangariza ubuzima n'ubugwaneza atari urupfu rw'indengakamere. Ndibuka rya joro ry'akarengane n'akagambane rimwe ryadutwaye inzirakarengane zizira uko zarengera.
Turishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane turishanga ritazima nitwe rumuri ruzamurikira imicamo y'iwacu umuco ugakwira hose.
ndibuka ijoro ry'umwijima ije ari buryaduka abacu bambuga ubuzima mu Gatumba nibwo twumvise inkuru idukubita nk'inkuba
ariko ntitwapfa inkubirane zankora amaraso zari zizi ngo byarangiye nta bapfira gushira turi imizi ishinze ishimangiye idashobora kurandurwa tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane turi umuco uzamurika Afurika turi bato batari gito turi amashami ashibuka buri munsi turi imfura zidateye ipfunwe turi bazima bazira ikizinga ntituri ikizira twakuriye ku mata azira amatiku ntawe dutunze umututu ngo tumutoteze cyangwa tumuhotore ariko mwe muri bivume nka Kayini mwe mwamenye amaraso y'inzirakarengane atagira ingano narasesenguye nsanga muri ibigwari mwe mwifuzaga gusibanganya ibigwi by'umurenge muduca ibihanga ubuhanga n'uburanga ubwenge n'ubugenge byacu byibagirane mu isi mwarasebye
More, 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 murenge, more bwoko bwanjye, turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane, turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane, nitwe rumuri ruzamurikira imicamo y'iwacu umuco ugakwira hose.
tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane Gatumba aho twahungiye dutorotse ubuhiri namwe mudutwikira mu mahema ese ubu koko ubuhemu niyo mwambaro mwambara mukabegwa sinzibagirwa ijoro ry'umwijima amarira yabaye nk'amariba mu marembo amarimbi yasamira abacu ijoro rimwe rihinduka ubwira kabiri karindwi turindagira tutazi iyo tugana gusa tuzahora turabagirana turi ishanga ritazima ngo ryibagirane Gatumba Gatumba waduteye intimba imitima iratutumba watumize bunguri abungeri bacu n'abato b'ibitambambuga mubazize umutumba muto harya ngo ibo si abantu sha umuntu ninde umuntu n'ubumuntu dukubura amakimbirane twimika umuco w'ubumwe yaduhanze n'imwe twese ntawahisemo indoro cyangwa indesho ye uko dusa niko twisanze turibuka twiyubaka turibuka imfura zacu zakubiswe udufuni induru zitsimbura indirimbo dogora tudafite uduhoza ubutabera bw'isi burarebera ariko impanda nivuga muzahabwa impembo y'ingoyi kuko mwaduteje ingorane nimuhumure abacu biciwe mu nkambi ubu bambitswe amakamba nubwo ababyeyi bahindutse inshike
shyira imbaraga zacu kugira ngo turwanye ibiturwanya no gushaka reka twakire Maître Oscar azatugezeho ijambo yateguye
kuba muduhaye ijambo muri uyu mwanya utoroshe.
Thank you for the word.
Reka tubanze twihanganishe abantu bose bagize ibyago zo guhura n'ubwicanyi bwo mu Gatumba.
Let us say our deepest condolences to everyone who faced such tragedy.
Tubabwira ngo bihangane
And we say be strong.
kandi Imana ikomeze imitima yabo.
And may God strengthen your hearts.
Nubwo bibabaje,
Even though it is sad,
Imana yo izahora ari Imana.
God will always be God.
Ubwicanyi bubatwara Kigali,
The
ubwicanyi buba.
okay. So when the death happened, we were in
twari Kigali
We were in Kigali.
mu gitondo kimwe twinjiye mu rusengero
One morning when we entered into the church,
batubwira amakuru
and they told us of the news.
uwayavugaga ni Apotre Paul Gitwaza twaza dusenga turi muri Zion.
At that time, we fellowship in the church called Zion, and the person giving us the information
avuga
was
ijambo ati abanyamurenge bari mu gupfa cyane.
and he said that Banyamulenge are dying.
Twumvise ngo mu Gatumba abantu bashize,
We heard that people are dying in Gatumba.
ababishe ntitubazi,
We don't know who killed them,
ariko Imana irabazi.
but God knows.
Ndibwira yuko ubwishanyi bwa Gatumba
I believe that the massacre in Gatumba,
tugize ngo ducukumbure uko bwakozwe,
if we were to investigate on how it happened,
bizabidusiga.
it's really hard to understand.
Hari ukuri kumwe tutazi,
There is a certain truth that we don't know,
ariko Imana izi.
but God knows.
Kandi ubutabera bw'Imana nk'uko abambere babivuze,
And the justice of God, just like what they said before,
buzageraho busohore kuri buri wese.
it will come to pass.
Nje ku giti cyanje
I myself,
kumbwira ngo mpagare muri uyu mwanya
to tell me to stand today,
nkuvuga bijanye n'ubutabera,
speaking about the injustice,
ntibinorohera.
it's not an easy thing for me.
Impamvu ni iki?
Why? Because
Uvugize ubutabera
when you speak about injustice,
ukora analyse yose
you do an analysis
y'uburyo icyaha ushaka kuvugaho
to speak of what the sin that you want to speak about
cyakozwe,
and how it happened,
ukareba uko byari bimeze icyaha kitarakorwa,
and you see how people were living before that
ukareba
sin,
gikorwa,
and you see how they
ukareba
how it happened,
ukareba kandi nyuma yo gukorwa.
and then you see what happens after.
Mu rwego rw'ubu bwicanyi
In this death,
ni ugusuzuma ngo ese abantu bishwe ni bande,
it's to know who are the people that
bari baturutse he,
where were they coming from,
ni izihe mpamvu zatumye bagera hariya,
why were they there,
ese ubwo bicwa byari bimeze gute,
when they were dying, what had happened,
nta buryo bwari buhari bwo kubakingira igihe baza bicwa.
was there no protection when they were dying?
Ibyo byose tubyirengagije,
So all that,
nta analize y'ukuri tuba dukora,
if we don't figure out those main points,
kuko tuzi yuko abantu biciwe mu gihugu
we really don't have an answer, because
gifite inzego z'umutekano
people died in the nation where
kandi
there was
zitari kure,
and leadership was not far,
tukibaza ngo ese zahoze zikora iki,
and we wonder what was the leadership doing,
ese nyuma y'ubwicanyi
and after the death,
hari icyakozwe kugira ngo ubutabera bugerweho,
after the massacre that happened,
hakorwe
was something
iperereza,
was there an investigation on how it
wenda
happened,
abashobotse bafungwe bafatwe,
so that people can be held accountable,
bahishure n'abandi batazwi.
and reveal other people who
Nico gituma navuze ngo
That's why it said
kumbwira ngo mvuge ibi bintu
to ask me to speak of this.
ntibyoroshye,
It's not an easy thing,
ariko kuko ari ngombwa
but because it's mandatory,
turabivuga.
we will speak of it.
Ni mwanya nahoze ntekereza
I was thinking,
tukigera muri Kigali, nashatse nifuzaga kuja muri
I wanted to go and study theology,
na ndetse nibuka yuko mu ijoro rimwe
and I remember one night,
njyewe n'umugore wa mbere nari narashatse
my first wife,
twafashe umwanya wo gusenga tutariye,
we took time to go before God,
ngo Imana ikingure inzira nje kuri theology,
so that God can open doors,
hariho na za promesse,
and there was promises,
tibzashoboka,
but that didn't happen.
nisanga mu mategeko,
So I found myself studying law,
kandi mbona harimo n'ukuboko kw'Imana.
and I believe there was the hand of God in that.
Cyo gituma kuvuga ibi ngibi,
That's why to speak of this,
wenda no guhishura ukuri kumwe wenda abantu batumva muri uyu mwanya
and to reveal some truth that people don't have an understanding of today.
mbisabwa
I'm asked on.
nubwo bigoye.
I must do it even though it's difficult.
Murambabarira.
Forgive me.
Kandi na hadasa nawe uhaye usobanura.
And myself,
ndagusaba ngo icyo mvuga cyose ukivuge.
I will repeat what you say.
Kuko ni ngombwa.
He's asked me to repeat what he said.
Tugize iminsi mu ntugunda y'intambara.
It's been long
zidasobanutse.
In wonders of what happened.
Zidafite ishusho.
No clear image of what
zifite baktere benshi.
And we have different voices.
Ubwoko buraburaniwe.
The Banyamulenge people are scattered.
Ntituzi iyo tuhaye tuje.
We have no direction. First and foremost,
ubwicanyi bwakorewe mu Gatumba.
The massacre that happened in Gatumba.
Byinshi biyoberanye.
There is many confusion.
Abantu bazabibaza.
The people ask themselves.
Nuko abantu bose abantu benshi bishwe.
Many people that died there.
Bari Abanyamulenge bavuye Uvira.
They were Abanyamulenge coming from Uvira.
Bicirwaho bahungiye mu Burundi.
And they were killed when fleeing in Burundi.
Ikibabaje.
What is sad is.
Nuko aho bari bahungiye.
Where they had fled to.
Bibwiraga yuko ariho babona uburinzi.
They thought that was the safe place they were heading.
Abariho bagwa.
And that's where they died.
Mu buryo bubabaje.
In a sad way.
Tuza kuvugana nabwo.
We're going to speak of it.
Uvira.
In Uvira.
Hari amafamiye makeya hasigaye.
There is a few families that were left.
Singomwe ngo tuyavuge.
It's not important to speak.
Ariko ntibabaye inquiete ntako babaye.
But they're well.
Umuntu akibaza impamvu iyo ariyo.
And you ask yourself, why is that?
Turi muri conférence bise conférence sur la paix et le développement des provinces du Nord et du Sud Kivu yari ishinzwe amahoro n'iterambere ya za provinces zo muri Nord na Sud Kivu.
When we're in that conference in South Kivu,
nari mvuye Kinshasa.
I was coming from Kinshasa.
Yari conference yahuzaga guverinoma ya Congo.
It was a conference that
President yarahari.
The government of Congo and the president of Congo.
Yari Joseph Kabila.
His name was Joseph Kabila.
Za ministeri nyinshi zari zihari.
Different ministries were there. That government.
Nahuye n'umuntu muri abo barokoke muri abo batigeze bagira ico batwarwa Uvira.
So I came to meet one person.
Ndamubaza ntese byagenze gute ndakuntu mwahungabanijwe musigaye.
Who's doing well and was not affected by the war.
Arambakanira ati nta kibazo.
What happened to you? And he said nothing.
Igitangaje.
What's surprising is.
Nuko bamwe mu bicanye.
One of those people.
Bashobora kuba baravuye aho za Uvira.
It is my understanding that some people that
abandi bava muri za plaine de la Ruzizi.
That killed the people.
Abandi wenda bava muri za Rukoko n'ahandi.
That togetherness of those killers.
Binjiye mu gihugu kifite inzi.
Who entered in a nation where
gisa n'icyakinguye imbibi.
But it seemed like they are open to them.
Bigatera ibibazo.
There is confusion and question.
Ndaza kubaho ubuhamya.
I'm going to give you a short testimony.
Bw'umugabo umwe wigeze kuba administrateur wa Uvira. Ni umufurero wari kukomoka mu Banyamulenge.
He is a mufurero but Munyamulenge.
Base n'ibishwa b'Abanyamulenge.
He is related to Banyamulenge.
Yaravuze ati ni igitangaza.
It is a shock.
Abo bantu baje bavuye kwica abantu.
Those who came to kill.
Bahaye bigamba.
They were speaking of it.
Urumva bagiye mu Burundi.
They went to Burundi.
Bakora ibyo bakora mu buryo uko bashatse.
And they massacred the people the way they wanted.
Barataha.
And then they left.
Uwo ni umugabo witwa Iseni Ruremantutsi niba ari akabaruberwa muzoba.
It's Rube.
Ruremandutsi.
His name is Ruremandutsi.
Ndaza gushaka izina Bazile. Yego.
His name is Vasile.
Yahoze abwira umukomanda.
He was telling the commander.
Si ngomwa ngo muvuge izina.
It is not a must to say that.
Aravuga ngo baje bahaye bigamba.
And he said
bavuye kwicana.
They came speaking proudly of how they killed the people.
Hari n'abandi bavuye muri za Plaine de la Ruzizi. Arabandi bavuye muri za Plaine de la Ruzizi na gace.
That's a place.
Yes.
It's a certain place, I don't know it.
Gusa icyo twatwibaza se ni gute bazamishira mu Burundi.
So our question is, how did they enter
Ngubukinguye.
And in an open state.
Tutaragera aho biciye abantu.
Before we get to a point
ngo
where
tuvuge yuko nazo nsoma umushakashatsi umwe.
I was reading.
Aravuga ngo aho biciye hariho amametre magana n'amakaya gisirikare.
So where the people were killed, there was many protection of the government. There was soldiers.
Nje narasome muri raporo n'imari ya Nations Unies.
I read a certain report.
Baraba ngo hariho yarimo abasirikare 130.
That there was
aho hantu.
There was a place where there was 130 something soldiers.
Ntibatabaye.
And those soldiers did nothing.
Bande hariho garnison police.
There was a police house.
Yarimo abapolisi 30.
A police station that had 30 police officers.
Ntibatabaye.
Those officers, they did not come to the rescue.
Birashoboka no mu nkambi kuko n'abarinzi bari bahari barindaga nk'abapolisi.
I believe that even in the tents there was
umubare wari wagabanyijwe.
There was certain police officers there to protect.
Nzewe kikiriyo sinageze nk'imbamu.
So I never used to attend this
ubu bwa kabiri nkibayemo
remembrance. This is my second time.
kubera amakuru amwe namenye.
So this is my second time coming
ankomeresa umutima
because of the news I received.
Bituma nzampunga ikikiriyo cya Gatumba.
That hurt me. That is why now.
Kubera yuko
because
biza bisa no kwishinyagurira.
It's hurtful.
Umunsi wa mbere nkibamo hariya muri Nairobi.
The first time I attended a remembrance of God.
Hari amakuru nageze numva.
There is news that will hear.
Ariko numvise noneho ubuhamya bw'umuntu warokokeye mu Gatumba abivuga.
So that was my first time hearing a testimony from one of the survivors of Gatumba.
Ni wari ugihagarariye uwo munsi Nairobi.
And that person spoke.
Aravuga ngo.
And they said.
Barashe ndi hanze.
They started shooting while I was outside.
Pungira muri tent.
So
muhema.
I ran into the tent.
Kuko bari baratubwiye.
Because they said to us.
Ngo nitwumva imbunda.
That if you hear.
Ngo bazaba bahaye birukana bajura.
Those gunshots are not for you. They're to chase people who are coming to steal.
Ati ntimukikange.
Don't be worried.
Narabyumvise.
I heard that with my own ears. I'm grown.
Mu myaka yanje.
In my years.
Sinahemba ibyo bintu.
I cannot make things up.
Natekereje ko.
So I thought that.
Mu butabera umuvandimwe Rumumba yigeze ku mucamanza twakoranye za formation Murambi.
Rumumba was a lawyer and we worked together.
Umuntu yaje kuvuga ubuhamya.
When somebody is about to give a testimony.
Azashira ukuboko hejuru.
They put up their hand.
Akarahira.
And they swear.
Uko avuga ukuri.
That they are speaking the truth.
Ukuri konyine.
And nothing but the truth.
Nyuma y'ukuri kwisi kudafatika.
So after the other truth.
Hari ukuri kw'Imana.
There is also a divine truth.
Twamenye abakristo.
The truth of God.
Ndumva jewe.
My understanding is.
Kuko nasabwe guhagarara no munsi.
Because I'm asked to speak today.
Amakuru mvuga akagutangaza.
If I speak and then you're shocked.
Ndayavuga mpagaze imbere y'Imana.
I am speaking the truth.
Izacira abazima n'abapfuye urubanza.
And the truth that God will judge.
Zigi yuko nanje uwo munsi nzarufesinga ku giti cyanje.
And the life.
Nimvuga ikinyoma.
If I speak lies.
Zabibazwa.
I will be asked of it.
Kandi nimvuga ukuri.
And if I'm speaking truth. truth.
nta rubanza mfite.
I have no judgment.
Niki cyageze gituma ntaba mu rubanza plutôt mu kiriro cya Gatumba?
What are the reasons why I didn't usually attend the remembrance of Gatumba massacre?
Turi Kigali,
When we're in Kigali,
ndi umwarimu muri Yelka,
I was a teacher in Yelka.
ndetse na secrétaire de faculté wa droit.
I was also a secretary.
For the sake of time, adasa ushobora kwicara agakomeza.
Okay, bari yavuze.
No yareka abivuge. Na tabivuga nje ndicara kuko sinaje gukina hano kuko sinaje.
I will translate.
Yes. Ndi secrétaire wa faculté ya droit.
I was the secretary of a certain faculty.
Havutse association muri Yelka.
And there was an association in Yelka.
Yitwa Ajik.
Reka dusabe minyona za mushifti. Yaba yaje. Uri hangana metre.
Ndavuze ngo itsembabwoko ryakorewe Abanyagatumba riba.
The massacre that happened to Gatumba people.
Byabaye ndi umwarimu muri Yelka.
It happened when I was a professor at a university called.
Ndi na secrétaire wa faculté.
And I was also the secretary of the faculty.
Muri université.
In that university.
Havukamo association yitwa Ajik.
And there was an association called Ajik.
Yari yobowe na marehemu Kigabo Rusuhuzwa.
That was led by someone that is no longer with us.
Yarataraba docteur yahoze ategura PhD we mu France.
He was studying his PhD in France.
Iyo association ngo yari ishinzwe guhuza abakongomani.
That association, the agenda was to unite the Congolese people.
Umunsi umwe nsohotse.
One day as I was leaving,
umunyeshuri arambwira ati se kutari mu kuba mu nama za association yavutse hano.
One day leaving the university, a student came
ndavuga nti sinabimenye.
And I say that I was not
kuko nari mfite akazi kenshi.
I had many other things that
nari umwarimu.
I was a professor.
Nkagira n'abanyeshuri 2000 nagomba gusubiza ibibazo byabo bya buri gihe za rekuru n'ibindi shaka n'abarimu.
But I also had 2,000 students.
Sinabona umwanya wo kuja kumenya ibihaye bitambuka.
That I had to attend to the assignments.
Ati hari association yavutse.
He said that there was an association.
Tugize minsi tuja mu manama.
And they have been having meetings.
Ngo buce.
The next day.
Mpura na Mugabe aje.
I met a person called Mugabe.
Academic.
He was the secretary.
Yes, hano hari association yavutse.
And I asked, is there an association that was created that I'm not aware of?
Ati yaravutse uzategura umwanya nzaza kukubwira amakuru.
And he said that association has been created. Let's find time for me to tell you the details of it.
Ndamubwira nti mu mugoroba ndabona umwanya.
I say in the evening I'll have time.
Uze muri biro ya faculté.
Come to the office of the faculty.
Mbwira amakuru.
And tell me about it.
Mpamagara abandi barimu babiri.
I called two other professors.
Singomba ngo mvuga amazina yabo.
I'm not going to name them.
Baraza binjira muri biro yacu.
And they came in
muri biro nakoreragamo.
In our office.
Tumuha umwanya ngo natubwire amakuru.
And we gave him time to tell us about the association.
Aravuga ngo baricaye.
He said that they sat down.
Baja mu Banyarwanda.
And they spoke to the Rwandese people.
Ngo bashike barababwira ngo ntibazabafasha batariyunga.
They spoke to the Rwandese people and they had told them that they are not going to give them the aid that they need until they reconcile among themselves.
nti yatubwiye abanyarwanda bari bo
He didn't tell us what
nimba ari abakaciro
He didn't tell us which
nimba ari abagatenga
He didn't tell us the
nuko yatubwiye
location of the
gusa
people. That is exactly what he said.
ati bukeye dushinga ajike
And the following day, we had a committee.
bashyiraho iyo association yitwa ajike
They created that association that is called AJIC.
ati iyo association
That association
ishinzwe kunga abakongomani ishinzwe guhuza abakongomani
it is an association.
kureconcilia
It is an association that is there for reconciliation.
ariko bashoboka
But for those who wish to be reconciled,
kuko aho ngaho naramubajije abadashoboka bari bo
because I asked him who are not willing to reconcile,
kandi no gutekereza gutaha iwacu
and to think to go back to our homeland,
byaba ngombwa ku mbaraga
and even if it's possible, we'll go back.
ati iyo niyo association naje kubabwira
That is the kind of association I'm telling you about.
nti utarakomeza
He said, before you continue,
ndakubaza ibibazo bitatu
I asked him, before you continue, I have 3
ubinsubize
questions.
tubone gukomeza
Answer me those 3 questions and we'll continue.
ndamubaza ndetse umbwiye yuko mwagiye mu banyarwanda muragaruka mutekereza ajike
You are telling me that you went and spoke to the Rwandese people and therefore you came back and created
association yo kunga abakongomani
an association that is to reconcile the
ndumva atari igitekerezo cyanyu ari cy'abandi
I have this understanding that is not your idea,
none
but it is an
urantandukanyiriza
idea
ajike na RCD
that was born somewhere else.
urantandukanyiriza ajike na RCD gituma ubintandukanyiriza
You're going to give me the difference. This association and a part of government that is called ERCID.
tuza tubijamo
Sometimes we join association
bikadusiga
and you don't fully understand the
kuko
purpose
ari
of
abandi
association.
babikontorora
Because there is a person behind it that has a different agenda.
urambeza iryo tandukanirizo.
And I asked him to give me a difference of those 2 things.
icya kabiri urambwira abo wambwiye ngo niyo kureconcilia abakongomani.
You have told me that the purpose of this association is to reconcile the ones who want to be reconciled.
urambwira badashoboka noneho.
You're also going to explain to me who are those who do not wish to be reconciled.
kuko approche y'umureconciliateur
Because the approach of someone who wants to reconcile people,
wegera bariya badashoboka
you come close to those who
akaba ariho ushaka kwiyegereza
and you bring them near to you.
kuko bashoboka bo ubu bafite.
Because the ones who wish to be reconciled, you have them.
icya gatatu
The third thing,
urambwira noneho ubushobozi
you're also going to tell me the capacity,
sur le plan matériel
the capacity materially
ufite bwo buzasubira iwanyu ku mbaraga
that you have to go back to your homeland.
kandi uri umuntu wo kunga abantu.
Since you're a person who is going to be in charge of reconciling people.
ibyo bibazo bitatu
And those 3 questions,
nta na kimwe yansubije.
he did not give me an answer.
yaricaye
He sat down
arahaguruka
and he stood up
aragenda.
and he left.
ba bagabo babiri twari kumwe
Those are the 2 men that were there.
narabahindukiranye amakuru docteur rero yari ataraba docteur aje amakuru aje atubwiye.
Did you hear what he just said?
nabo babura uko bavuga
And they also did not have an answer.
barahaguruka baragenda.
And they left.
bwarakeye
The next day,
biro ya marehemu Rusuzwa Toma
the office of
n'izanjye zararebanaga gutyo.
the office of someone who had passed away,
Kigabo ninjiyemo
our offices were facing each other.
ndamubaza ndetse mwashinze association.
And I asked Kigabo, have you created an association?
ati twarashinze.
And he said, yes, we
wampeza stati zayo
Can you give me the status of that association?
arayizimpeza.
And he gave it to me.
ingingo ya gatatu
The second point, the third point, sorry.
yavugaga ku bintu byo kubungabunga cyangwa se kubumbatira umutekano.
The third point was how they are going to create peace.
ndavuga ndetse association ya reconciliation yabumbatira gute umutekano.
And I said, how can an association of reconciliation can be in charge of peace as well?
Tiwambwira ubushobozi kakigira mbwira nabaje
Can you tell me the capacity?
Les mécanismes, les moyens d'action.
Or can you tell me the material mechanism of the
ufite
capacity
zo kubungabunga umutekano.
that you have of being able to be in charge of
Ntiyanshubije.
He didn't have an answer.
namwe ndireka ngo propose
And I said, let me give you a proposal.
dushiremo volet y'amasengesho
Let's put the volume of prayer.
kuko imitima yakomeretse
Because the hearts have been
ibihaye biba muri aka karere
what is happening in the
byadukomerekeje imitima.
has wounded our hearts.
tuza dusenge
Let us come and pray.
nitumare dushireho ingamba zo kunga abantu.
And let us come and pray and lead with prayer to be able to reconcile the
ati
hearts of
sawa.
people. And he said, okay.
ngo twaza tuvugana na gatanu
We were talking about that on Friday.
niposho mu ijoro
On Saturday night,
abantu barishwa mu Gatumba.
people were killed in Gatumba.
jewe nabimenye mbabwiye ko nabimenye mu rusengero tubibwiwe na Apotre Gitwaza atubwira ati dusengera abantu.
I came to find out about the massacre on a Sunday.
kuwa mbere sinasubiraga ku ishuri kuko twakoraga amanywa n'umugoroba.
Monday, I wasn't supposed to go back to the university.
nagiraga off.
I was off.
kuwa kabiri nsubira ku ishuri.
On Tuesday, I went back to university.
ngo mpure na maremu Kigabo.
When I met
kuko hari abantu b'ikinshasa nahamagaye havutse association.
Because he was part of the people who created the association
yo kunga abantu
to reconcile people.
muzoza mugira dusenge turebe nimba abantu twagerageza kwiyunga.
Let's pray about it and see if reconciliation.
ngoje kumubwira makuru.
When I went to talk to him,
arambwira ati ubu ngubu uhamagare abanyakinshasa ndagutumye.
he said, call the people that are in Kinshasa.
twavuze ngo turavuga ukuri.
We say we're going to speak of the whole truth.
tuhagaze imbere ye
Standing before the Lord
n'abantu
and people.
izakira abariho n'abazima urubanza.
And God is going to judge the dead and the living.
uhamagare abanyakinshasa bahunge intambara iratangiye.
He said to call the people in Kinshasa because there's war about to begin.
mbura icyo mvuga.
And I was shocked.
kubera iki?
Why?
Gatumba abantu bapfuye mu Gatumba.
Because people have already passed away in Gatumba.
twese twamenya amakuru.
We've already lost.
zari byatubabaje.
It really wounded our hearts.
ambwira impamvu.
He told me the reason.
ati ubu ngubu
He said, right now,
twaburije vice president Ruberwa gusubirayo mu intambara itangire.
we have asked the vice president not to go back so that the war may begin.
mwamenye yuko ari yasuspense kuja gusubira muri transition.
You know that we have refused to go in transition.
ahamagara abadepite biwe.
And he called his deputies.
baranga.
And they refused.
bati tuva muri guverinoma ya transition.
And they said that we're not going to leave or resign
nyuma subirayo.
the government of transition.
nyuma subirayo.
And he left.
Musa subirayo.
The day he left,
ninjiye muri biro ya Kigabo nsanga arunamye.
I went back to the office of Kigabo and I found him
atese ndibubishe ko Ruberwa asubiyeyo.
And he said, have you heard the news that the
president
went back?
makuru ya Gatumba ukuntu twagiye tuyakira.
I'm saying about how the construction of it or the overview of the whole massacre.
noneho ngo bikutireho attitude y'u Burundi.
When you mix that with the attitude of Burundi, where the massacre happened, where the people had gone to refugee, where they had soldiers that were guarding the country,
gifite abasirikare,
and they had really soldiers
abantu bakicwa,
and people were killed in the country,
abicanyi bakigonoswa,
and the people that had killed,
bagataha amahoro.
and the people who had done
iyo musomye amaraporo
the people who have
ngo baje bahaye baririmba
the people who have done the massacre
bahaye bavuza n'ingoma
were singing and rejoicing about
ndi Afrique du Sud
in South Africa
na Pretoria
in Pretoria
hari umuhungu w'umurundi wadusanze ngo ni Jean Paul.
There's a Burundian guy, his name is Jean Paul.
Yari umujournaliste.
He was a journalist.
Warunze ingoma ya Buyoya.
That was on the leadership of Buyoya.
Oh, yari abahunze.
Oh, he was fleeing from the leadership of Buyoya.
Kuko bari bamufunze.
Because they had imprisoned him.
Baramutortira ngo buce arashika
And they had tortured him and then he escaped.
Ndetse yari wo muri parti ya bagaza Parena.
He was from the party.
Ico bamujije ni dossier yari yakoze kuri dossier mu Irlande umwe wari wapfuye yishwa n'ingoma ya Buyoya w'umupadiri.
What really he was the reason why he was fleeing is because he was seeking for justice of something that had happened in the area.
Umunsi umwe duhatuganira ndamugatisha mwatwikiye abantu.
And one day as we were talking I said you guys have killed.
Kuko sinumva gukuntu abantu baza bakica abantu dans un pays protégé igihugu kirinzwe gifite igisirikare.
Because I could not comprehend or understand how people come from outside and kill people who were seeking refuge in a nation that seemed to be secure or has security.
Mwene data Rumumba yabaye muri za chambre spécialisée pour génocide munkiko zanaga génocide.
Rumumba was part of the judges that were sitting while they were judging people who committed genocide. And there were 3 parts to it.
Baza bakoresha muri génocide y'abatutsi.
There were 3 strategies they were using to commit the genocide of the Tutsi.
Notion ya ntuze ya encadrement na supervision.
The notion of it's a French word called what?
Gukora icyaha.
Sinning.
Gukora icyaha agakora icyaha hari abandi bahaye bamucungira umutekano bamurebera basekiriza ko akora icyaha.
It was an organized crime where people were watching over the people.
Niyo situation yabishwe mu Gatumba.
That was the same situation.
Dizera yuko hariho supervision encadrement et tout ce kugira ngo abantu baffe nibamara gupfa abagenda bagende.
It was a massacre that was strategically planned and watched over, and people who were committing the massacre had outside security watching over them to make sure that they will not get caught.
Igitangaje nuko nyuma y'abantu kwicwa
the surprising thing
guverinoma y'u Burundi itakoze uko ishoboye ngo ikurikirane ikore iperereza nimba bishobotse abayiri hafi bafate ibafunge hejuru y'ibyakozwe mu Gatumba.
The surprising thing is the government of Burundi did not seek justice on behalf of the refugees that were killed in the massacre of Gatumba, where they were seeking refuge to the government of Burundi.
Noneho nabyageraho ngaho
when he reached to that point
nkavuga ati nabahabimana bemeye bapaseri habimana ari abantu bemeye kuko bisha abantu.
There are people who
Nyabagatorwasa ba FNL.
There are people who have actually were accused of killing people and actually they were found to be guilty.
Bashobora kuba ari ba executor abantu wenda batemye ariko inyuma hariho ba planificateur aribo baze babarindira umutekano.
There were people who actually executed the actual crime of the
massacre,
but there were also people behind them orchestrating and making strategies on how they were.
Abariyo mpamvu Burundi butakurikiranye bari abantu.
Which is the reason why the government of Burundi did not seek justice on the people that were killed in their land while they were seeking refuge in their land.
Kuko ibyaha iyo bikorwa,
because when a crime is committed,
bigakorerwa mu gihugu runaka ubutaka bw'igihugu runaka
is committed on the land of a country,
haba ihame rya territorialité de la loi pénale.
There's a law of territorial
nukuvuga ngo amategeko akurikizwa mu gukora iperereza no gukurikirana no guhana
the laws that are followed in
naico gihugu
are supposed to be the laws of that country.
Niki gituma Burundi butakurikiranye ngo bumenye abantu bishe abantu bacu.
What was the reason why the government of Burundi did not seek justice on behalf of the people that were killed in their land?
cyane ko bagatorwasa baje kwiyamamaza nyuma,
especially since bagatorwasa were running an election.
Bikekwa cyangwa se bariyemeje ko bakoze icyaha.
When they have really pleaded guilty of committing that crime. Confess to the crime.
Nico gituma navuze ngo ubwicanye bwa Gatumba.
That is why that I said the massacre of Gatumba.
Bugoye kumenya banyirabwo.
It is hard to really understand.
Ndetse byagera aho ngaho.
The mastermind behind it.
Njewe nzashaka gutekereza kuko ari ubwicanyi a caractère politique.
I also came to a conclusion that this was an orchestrated massacre that was orchestrated from the leadership of the government.
Kuko nyuma y'umunsi umwe se cyangwa iminsi ibiri,
because after 2 days,
kuko disho kintu cyari cyaratumye umutima wanje wivumbura.
After 2 days, this is the reason why my heart could not
Uburundi bwavuze ngo
want to attend the commemoration.
Uburundi bwavuze ngo bugiye gukurikirana abicanye muri Congo.
The Burundi government said that they were going to follow and the people who had committed massacre in Congo.
Abicanye batigeze batesha bahaye bica abantu.
When they really had never sought justice or defended the people that were in their land seeking refuge.
Ari umugabo uri muri M23 ubu ngubu.
There is a man who is in the part in M23.
Ari hari ya Bukavu.
M23, I'm sorry. It's a party. Is it politics? Is it? It's a rebel movement.
Tubana hariya muri Kenya.
When we used to live together in Kenya.
Yari mu basirikare bamutebutse hariya icyoko cyage bahunze uziko byabaye abanyabukavu bahunga n'intuze bakiri hari icyoko ingabo za Mutebusi.
While he was still there with the leadership of Mutebusi.
Yarambwiye ngo umugoroba Gatumba yicwa.
He said that the evening the Gatumba massacre was committed.
Twatembereye Butare tugiye gusura abantu.
We had gone to Butare visiting people.
Ngo tuje gusubirayo.
When we were leaving.
Nimba ramwe ngo bari baciye za Kaduha Kibeho ndagira ngo.
They were passing in that area Kibeho.
Atuma muri twebwe araduhindukirana.
One among us.
Aratubwira ngo birashoboka ko inkambi ya Gatumba iraswa.
And he said that it is possible that the refugee of Gatumba might be attacked. Do you hear the massacre? There were people who had pre-knowledge.
Enigmatique massacre de Gatumba hejuru ya mystère izengurutse iyi ntuzi.
I say that they should even change the name of it and say that the mission or the elimination of the people of Gatumba.
Nico gituma.
That is why.
No mu buryo butabera.
In justice.
Bigoye.
It is difficult.
Uburundi igihugu cyakagombye gutanga inzira yo guhanwa kw'abicanyi.
The Burundi government should be able to
nta bushake cyagize.
Who committed the massacre?
Jewe nzantekereza.
But they were not willing to do so.
Sur base y'izo information zose.
I think about the base.
Yuko bagize uruhare muri buriya bwicanyi ari benshi.
Because it leads me to conclude that the government itself had a part in it.
Hariho ba executor.
There were some who were executing
bicanye matérieusement.
The people who killed people.
Hariho abandi bazabita ngo les auteurs intellectuels aba planifie umugambi.
And there is those who are called the mastermind
batazabagaragara.
That are not seen.
nico gituma bigoye kuvuga ngo bibe byarakurikiranywe mu rwego rw'ubutabera.
That is why it is difficult to say that this was not investigated and justice was not given to the families that were left.
Reka tuvuge mekanizme z'ubutabera zakoreshwa kugira ngo ubwo bwicanyi bukurikirwe.
Let's talk about the mechanism
abantu bazahanwe,
so that those who have committed the massacre will be held accountable.
Zambere Burundi bugomba kuba bufite ubushake bwo kwanketa.
The government of Burundi should have the willingness to have investigation and put the evidence together.
Zaba ngombwa bagafata umuntu umwe babiri bahari niba agatorwasa ari bakamufata.
Even if they can also arrest the people who have confessed of committing the crime.
Wenda yishura amabanga menshi. Tiwenda bamufashe yahishura amabanga menshi.
Oh, if they arrest those people, they might shed more light onto why or who was the mastermind behind the action.
Turasaba Burundi nuno mwanya
We ask the government of Burundi
kugira ubwo bushake
to have the willingness
bukora investigation
to do an investigation
na zankete ku bantu bicanye
and to do an investigation
kugira ngo abakorewe
all the people accountable who committed the
kugira ngo abakorewe ubwicanyi
so that the families of the people
baronke ubutabera,
they will have justice.
Kongo kurwaye ruhande
Congo on its part
kigihugu bikekwa yuko hari abicanyi basohotse muri Kongo bagahungirayo,
because it is suspected that there were the people who committed the massacre left the Congo and then came committed the massacre and left the country.
Cyakagombye nacyo gufasha cyane cyane kuko n'abantu bishwe ariho bakomoka.
So Congo, together with the government of Burundi, should join forces together.
Cyakagombye gukora enquêtes.
They should do an investigation.
Bakamenya
and to know
abicanyi ibyo ari byo byose bose ntibarashira baracyahari.
Of the people who committed the crimes.
Bagafatwa.
And for them to face justice.
Bakabazwa.
To face justice.
Byaba ngombwa bakoherezwa mu Burundi kuko nicyo gihugu cyari kompeta gukurikirana kuko ibyaha aribo byakorewe.
When necessary for the people to be taken back to the country of Burundi where the massacre was committed so that they may face the law of the country where they committed the massacre in.
Tunasaba na Kongo nayo
asking the government of Congo as well.
Ibyaha byakozwe ntibiza bisaza ndibwira yuko sinakora analyse neza ariko ndibwira kuko biri ari les actes de génocide nibikorwa bya génocide kuko bishwe ari abantu runaka bazwi bakomoka muri groupe ethnique runaka kandi abashose bose barishwe.
Those were the acts of genocide.
Bufashe Kongo izafashe gukora ubushakashatsi mafete nduze gukora iperereza abashose bafatwe bakurikiranwa.
Congo should join forces so that they will do an investigation.
Ariko zose
the perpetrators of the crimes should be held accountable.
Zose hashingiye kuri mekanizme bazahita muri coopération judiciaire.
Where the mechanism of action is the cooperation of the justice system.
Bashobora koherezwa mu Burundi akaba ariyo bahanirwa iyo hari ubushake.
They should be taken back to the country of Burundi where they should face the justice.
Ubundi buryo
another way
hari ikintu bazita protection diplomatique.
There is also a protection, diplomatic protection.
Ibyo ngibyo igihugu abiciwe cyangwa se abakorewe ibyaha bakomokamo.
The people, the country where the victim come from.
Aricyo Congo.
That is Congo.
cyakagombye kugira ubushake
should also be willing
bwo kurega Burundi
to also bring the government of Burundi
kugira ngo buryozwe kuba batararinze abaturage babo batararinze imbuzi z'abakongomani zari zahungiye,
to hold the government of Burundi accountable for not protecting the refugees that were in their country
kandi bari babishoboye
when they had the capacity.
Kuko hari ikintu bazita obligation de protéger uburenganzira inshingano zo kurinda.
There is something that is called the obligation to protect.
Ibihugu bigira
A country has.
Birinda abanyamahanga kimwe n'abaturage bazo.
They protect foreigners just as they protect their own people.
Rero iyo igihugu kitazuzuje,
when the country is not meeting those,
hariyo une obligation internationale kiba kitujuje.
There is also an obligation international that they have not
biza bituma kibiryozwa,
meaning that the international courts could hold them accountable for not holding the people accountable that have committed crimes.
Ikibazo cy'imekanisme ya protection diplomatique,
the problem with this strategy of the diplomatic protection,
kugira ngo igihugu nyine gikomokwamo n'abantu bishwe se cyangwa se bakorewe ibindi byaha biremereye gihaguruke kibikurikirane,
so that a country where the crime was committed to be able to stand up or to be able to hold the people who committed the crimes accountable.
Nuko haba harageragejwe mu gihugu ibyaha byakorewemo.
For the international courts to be able to be involved is because the country where the crimes were committed,
kugira ngo igihugu tuvuge ngo Kongo kugira ngo igere ku ntambwe yo gukurikirana kurega Burundi.
Okay, for Congo to be able to reach to a point where they bring Burundi accountable in front of the international
court, mu nzira zose z'ubutabera zigomba kuba zarananiranye mu Burundi.
It means that they should have exhausted all the accountabilities, policies or laws in Burundi.
Ibyo ngibyo ntibyakozwe.
That was not done.
Hejuru y'ubushake bukeya bw'u Burundi.
Because they did not have a willingness.
Nico gituma dusaba u Burundi kugerageza kuva en fait muri la situation ceceka buzahutabera bari abantu biciwe ku butaka bwabo bukurikiranye abicanye mu buryo bushobotse bwose.
And that is why we ask of the country of Burundi to hold the people that committed the massacre accountable.
Uburyo bwa nyuma,
the last thing,
ni uburyo bw'inkiko ziriya mpuzamahanga za CPI, Cour pénale internationale.
Is the way of international courts.
Nabwo ni bumwe n'ubwo bwa protection diplomatique.
It is the same as diplomatic protection.
Bazango bagira ububasha bwabo buza inyuma y'ubwo ibihugu ibyaha byakorewe, nibwo Cour pénale internationale yabona ku igihe igihugu kitafite ubushake igihe bwo gukurikirana ibyaha, Cour pénale internationale nibwo yabona gukora enquête zayo.
What he just said.
Yego nico gituma za mechanisme zose,
those mechanisms,
sinzi wenda nimba sinabisuzumye ariko wenda ma association y'Abanyagatumba,
I have not really
biorganije wenda
Association of Gatumba
bagashaka inzira ibirego byabo zazamurwa bikagezwa muri Cour pénale internationale,
to seek a way where they can find a way to bring their accusation to the international law.
Kuko Uburundi bwo bwamaze kugaragaza yuko nta bushake.
The country of Burundi has shown unwillingness.
Wenda byazagerwaho.
maybe it's going to be reached
bigakurikiranwa.
and justice will
ariko nsuzumye kugira ngo iriya Cour Pénale Internationale
when I see that group of international
abaza bayiregera
the people who really advocate on
ni ibihugu
the people who bring accusation to the international courts are the country
ni ziyemeje ari amasezerano y'i Roma.
It is the countries that are in agreement of the laws of the Roman.
cyangwa se secrétaire général wa Nations Unies
Or the General Secretary of United Nations.
sinzi n'abandi ariko simpamenya naho ngaho niho hariho wenda ingorane.
That is where maybe the solution is made.
kugira ngo wenda Cour Pénale Internationale ibe yanketa kuri biriya kuri kiriya cyaha kuri biriya byakore mu Gatumba.
So that the international courts would take over the investigation of what happened in Gatumba.
Muri make
In summary,
izo nizo nzira z'ubutabera zishoboka.
those are ways that the people could be held accountable.
ariko cyane nk'uko nabivuze
Especially, like I said,
nuko buriya bwicanyi bwo mu Gatumba
is the massacre of Gatumba
buhisha amabanga menshi.
contains many secrets.
ababugizemo uruhare ni benshi.
People, there were masterminds behind it.
Njyewe nzantekereza kuko ari ubwicanyi bwakozwe hagendera impamvu za politiki.
I myself, this is my own opinion.
aricyo cyatumye inzira y'ubutabera inanirana.
There was a political agenda.
turangiza
And which was the mastermind of that.
twihanganishije abanyamurenge bose.
As we finish, we give condolences to all the Banyamulenge people.
cyane abakorewe ayo mahano.
Especially those who were victims or had families that were victims of the massacre.
hari umuririmbyi w'umukongomani
There's a Congolese singer.
yapfuye muri za 70 yitwaga ngo ni Bavo Marimari.
I know what I'm wondering. Because it's so angry because Baba Zungu Agi. Sure? Eh?
Bagiye.
Okay.
Uwo muririmbyi yaravuze.
The singer said.
Ngo yaririmbye indirimbo mu minsi mike arapfa yakekwaga ko yarozwe.
The singer said the song in a few days he died.
Aravuga ngo umurozi nawe azapfa.
A witchcraft dies.
Ngo n'uburozi bukabora.
And also the poison rots.
Abicanyi.
The killer.
Nubwo abantu batabona ubutabera.
Even if they might not face justice.
Nabo bazapfa.
They are also going to die.
N'imigambi yabo bapfane nayo.
And their plans are also going to die.
Duhumure Banyamurenge.
So take heart.
Imana irahari izaduhorera.
God's justice cannot be mocked.
Ndibuka dusenga hariya muri Kenya.
I remember as we prayed in Kenya.
Twagiraga groupe y'amasengesho n'umuvandimwe bari muri Etats-Unis.
We had a prayer group.
Ya buri kwezi yo kusengera ubwoko.
Monthly prayer to pray for our people.
Umunsi umwe mu mugoroba ijwi ratubwira ngo nta mbaraga mufite.
One day in the evening we had a voice saying that you are not powerful.
Ariko nzababuranira.
But I will fight for you.
Kandi ryari ijwi ritavangiye.
It was a voice that you could not confuse.
Birya pastor yavuze.
What the pastor said.
Bitinde bitebuke tuzatabarwa.
Sooner or later justice will come.
Ariko nkibaza ngo se tuzatabarwa tumeze gute?
But when I think about it, justice will come. How are we going to be?
Muri aya macakubiri.
In our division that we have.
Macakubiri ni kwa Satani.
The division is a tool of the devil.
Tuve mu macakubiri.
Let us leave division.
Tubumwe.
Be united.
Imana izanesha kuko twabaye umwe.
And God will fight for us.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
ihangane izi mfu zatumye tugwiza imfuzi tubura imfura aho kugwiza abamikazi twagwije abapfakazi ibihe ni ibihemu biraduhekuye gusa ndashima sinshinyaguye ko ubu yituje muri wa mutuzo w'abatambyi. General Makanika yari umusaza w'umusaje wagendanaga ikambazi, ubu yambitswe ikamba. Atuje iwabo ntarangisha inzira, yabegwaga atambaye ibya mirenge, akandagije ikirenge murenge, bagica bahunga ikinyamugongo ati umugogo yatungutse ku itongo rya se turagira dute. Ubwo yari yaremeye gusiga igisagara, aza gusangira impungure n'impinja. Yagize impuhe, asiga impiya, ati nsubiye imuhira. Guhembura abaguye umumari yarabigize umwuga atitaye ku mwirondoro. General Makanika yasanze ababyeyi mu bushora n'ubushomeri, dutatanye nk'intama zitagira umwungeri. Twaratewe imigeri na leta dutotezwa nk'abaretwa, maze aduhuriza mu ntara imwe, adushakira intwaro n'intamiro, adutoza ubutwari, dutura mu matongo mutuzo. Ibigwi byawe ntitwabirondora, twarondogora. Je nkunda rukunda, umugabo w'umugabe waduhekeye isezerano ahagoye, mu ngoyi n'ingorane atanga umuganura mu migabane. Ese ninde wakwibagirwa ko wahagaze mu manga, uhangana n'abaducaga ibihanga badukwiza imihanda ati dusubire i Rwanda. Ubasubizanye ubuhanga ushize amanga ati nuwanyita umuhinda ashaka ko nsiga gakondo, byantera agahinda karesha n'agafinda. General Makanika ati nkunda ubwoko bwanje kuruta uko nikunda. Iyi ntambara tuzayigwanya kugeza ku wanyuma, amahoro ava mu mara.
Famille direct byatu affectinze twese mu bundi buryo.
What affected families directly, it affected us indirectly as well.
Ndatangira mbibwira kugira ngo mubashe kumenya.
I'm going to tell you who I am so that you can know me.
Kandi ndabizi ko bamwe wenda munsi.
And some of you guys know me.
Jewe nitwa Nelson.
My name is Nelson.
Navukiye mu Bibogobogo.
I was born in the Bibogobogo.
Umunyonyo wanje niho wasigaye.
Umunyonyo. That's where my umbilical cord stayed.
So, kera umwana mutoya.
When I was a young child.
Barimuka abiwacu bava mu Bibogobogo baja mu Minembwe ahantu hitwa mu Karinge abari onkurira.
My family went from Ibibogobogo and went to Kalingi, and that's where I grew up.
So, ndi umunyamurenge wujuje ibyangombwa 100%.
I am a Munyamurenge 100%.
Nkaba n'umunyakanada kubw'ubushake.
And I am Canadian by nationality.
So, habayeho izindi nyungu noba n'umusangwa butaka cyangwa nkitwa umututsi kubera inyungu.
If there was other benefits, I would be called an Aboriginal or a Tutsi.
Ikintu cyose kishobora kunzanira inyungu nacitwa, ariko sinshobora guhindura uburyo nature.
So anything that brings benefit to me, I can maybe walk in that, but that doesn't dismiss who I am naturally.
Bivuga ngo kavukire ndi umunyamurenge.
Meaning I'm born Munyamurenge.
So ibindi byagenda byiyongeraho niba bari bita abatutsi ndabumva rwose kuko ni inyungu zabo bahaye ba protege.
Many things can change, and I truly empathize with people who are calling themselves Tutsis because they are protecting their own benefits.
N'aba twaje kwibuka bazize ko ari abanyamurenge, babisha ari abanyamurenge.
And the people that we come here to remember, they died because they are Abanyamurenge.
So uyu munsi wa none ntidushobora guhindura ayo mateka ngo tuvuge ngo batubashire mu ruvunge rw'igitutsi.
So today we cannot just wake up and put on a switch and say they are Tutsis because what happened.
Nta kibazo mfite n'abiyita abatutsi kuko ni inyungu zabo bahaye ba proteja.
There is no problem for those who are calling themselves Tutsi because they are protecting their own benefits.
Kandi ni uburenganzira bwabo.
And it is also their speech right.
So sinabarwanya, nta nuwo navuga nabi.
I don't fight you and I don't speak ill of you.
Ariko nanje ntihagire umuntu mvogera ngo anambura ubunyamurenge ngo angire umututsi kubera inyungu ziwe.
But at the same time, I ask that you respect who I am as a Munyamurenge and don't call me what I'm not.
So nohereje inzandiko nohereje secretary wa Nations Unies.
I have letters that I sent to the Secretary of Nations Unies.
nazishize kuri groupe ya WhatsApp ya BCC.
I've put it on the group of BCC.
So njewe hari icyo nabashe kwita za masakre twagiye dukorerwa, ngerageza gufata example ya zine.
Out of the massacres that happened to our people, I was able to take 4 examples.
Nuza kureba neza kuri rubuga rwa BCC nabitereyeho umunyamakuru wacu agaragaze kubishiraho ababibona babibone.
So it's on the group chat of BCC. If Muhizi is able to put that there, that'll be great.
Kese ya mbere navuze hejuru y'abantu bo mu bibogobogo.
The first study I did was of the people of Bibogobogo.
Ukuntu bazengurutse iriya mihana.
How they went around the village.
So bagatwara abagore n'abana n'abagabo ndetse bakabica.
And they captured women and children and killed the men.
Abenshi babatwara muri Tanzania.
And then many were taken to Tanzania.
So bageze muri Tanzania.
When they got to Tanzania,
baja muri UN biyita ngo ni abagore babo n'abana babo babandi batwawe amateka.
So they took them to the UN, calling them their wives and children.
So muri ico gihe batura mu makambi atandukanye yo muri Tanzania.
So at that time they lived in different tents in Tanzania.
So mu bihumbi 2007 njewe nagiye muri Tanzania gukora iyo investigation.
In 2007 I went to Tanzania to fulfill that investigation.
So nganira na UNHCR, nganira na guverinoma ya Tanzania, inzandiko ndazifite zose.
I spoke to the UNHCR and the government of Tanzania, and I have the report, the summary report.
So nasabaga kwinjira mu nkambi kugira ngo mbashe gukora icyo bita physical identification.
I was asked to enter into the camp, the area where the camps were, so that I can do an identification. Physical identification.
Yaba UNHCR iranga, yaba guverinoma ya Tanzania iranga.
So the UNHCR refused and the government of Tanzania refused as well.
So nibuka umugani w'ikinyamurengo uvuga ngo umuntu azagwisha kwa kwanga ngo kamuhisha kubizi.
And then I remember a proverb in Kinyamulenge that says, somebody can hide that they hate you, and then you hide that you know that they hate you.
Muri icyo gihe nanje nkoresha izindi metode zo kwinjiza abantu mu nkambi, abo nkuramo mbakuramo, n'ubu ngo mfite ibimenyetso byose ibyabaye byose ndabifite.
At that time I used a different method where I took certain people went and entered in the camp and helped other people, and we were able to rescue them, and I have all the evidence.
So iyo ni kese ya mbere y'abibogobogo mvuga ngo iriya ni massacre yabaye igomba kwitwa kwa genocide.
So, and that is the first thing where I say that the massacre that happened in Ibogobogo should be justified as a genocide as well.
So kesi ya kabiri ni yingiyi tuhaye twibuka uyu munsi.
The second case is the massacre that happened in Gatumba.
So bari abantu bapfuye urupfu bishwe iriya igomba kwitwa genocide.
The people that died in Gatumba and how they died, it should not be considered a massacre but a genocide.
Unfortunately, twebwe abanyamurenge ntidufite competence yo kwitwa massacre kuba genocide.
Unfortunately, as Abanyagatumba, we don't have the capacity to call Gatumba massacre to a genocide.
Ubundi genocide iza yemerwa n'inzego zibishinzwe.
So a genocide is accepted by the levels of the government that is assigned to it.
Cyane za nzego nazo ziri muri state runaka cyangwa igihugu runaka kikavuga ngo twebwe turarekonesa ibyabaye hariya babikoreye investigation bakavuga ngo iyi ni genocide.
And those levels are accepted by a certain countries, certain leaders to say that we do accept that what happened there was a genocide.
Cyangwa ziri nkiko international.
Or the international courts.
So zikiga zikavuga ngo iyi dossier kubera abantu runaka batabikoze, so ngo babyite ko ari genocide, twebwe turakora investigation iyi ni genocide.
Or another way is for the international courts to do an investigation and then classify it as a genocide.
Muri 2007 jewe nandikiye iriya international criminal code court yo muri la
2007?
2007.
In 2007, I wrote a letter to the court.
baransubiza bayihereza na file number barambwira ngo bazansubiza ibyo ndabifite byose ibyo birego narabitanze.
So I put in my plea and I send in the information and they got back to me and I have those information.
Ukeneye kubibona uzaze nzafungura binder nkwereke what we have done nico nuko basubishe.
So if you're interested you can come see me and I will show you everything.
Byakababaro nandikiye na UN maze kwandikira secretary wa Nations Unies ukuye yibaruba muri cyo gihe barambwira ngo case mpaye representa ngo igomba gutangwa n'umurepresenta w'igihugu muri Nations Unies.
So at that time I also wrote to the UN
so it was supposed to be represented by a representative of the nation into the UN. So, muri cyo gihe rero, what can I do? Ndi Canada.
At that time I was a Canadian.
By nationality.
By nationality.
So bose ndabwira Abanyakanada ngo ari bahagarara case y'abakongomani.
And I wondered how can I tell the Canadians to stand in the case of Congolese.
So none se abakongomani bariya ni bikimpaye mvuga batahaye babona kubera iki batafashe iyo responsibility nk'igihugu.
So Congolese as well, why did they take that responsibility as a nation?
Ngaruke kuri bene wacu biyita abatutsi.
And let me come back to our people who are calling themselves.
Ni mubwira u Rwanda noneho kuko mushigikiranye mubabwira uti kameme twe turigita ko turi abatutsi. Ni mu reconnaisse za massacre zabaye mugire mu enquête ni murangiza kubianketa mwite ko ari genocide yabaye. Igihugu chipronounce.
So then go to Rwanda and ask them to make it a genocide.
Igihugu cyari cyo cyose gifite ubwo bushobozi bwo kudeklara ikintu bakoresheje inzego zabo.
So any nation is able to declare something as a genocide by using
tugize amahirwe Kongo akaba ari bifata cyangwa se Burundi byaba ari akarusho.
If it's fortunate for us and Congo or Burundi takes it to higher levels, that would be great.
So no mugihe bitaba bibaye dukora iki?
So since that hasn't happened, what do we do?
Massacre ya gatatu.
The third massacre.
Ni massacre y'abakozi ba Ebenezer.
It is the workers of Ebenezer.
Bari binje mu modoka bahaye baja mu Minembwe.
They had entered in the car going in Minembwe.
So ibyo byabaye mu 2011.
That happened in 2011.
Baraza babakura mu modoka.
They physically took them out of the car.
Hari abantu biwacu urumva nababwiye ko ndi umunyaminembwe.
I told you I'm locally from Minembwe, so there are people.
Biciwemo hariya uzi kuba uri kumwe n'abandi bakagukuramo kubera izuru ryawe kusa.
Do you know how sad it is to be handpicked from a group of people just because you have a certain type of
iyo
nose?
target yo gutagetinga umuntu kamwicira ukwasa ishobora guhuza na critère za genocide kuko uwo muntu ntakindi azize.
So that criteria of just handpicking a person because of their looks is actually it can be related to a genocide because they're dying because of how they look.
Unfortunately kandi kuko njewe nawe akababaro kacu ntigashobora kuigira genocide hatabaye ziriya nzego zibishinzwe.
Unfortunately we cannot turn it into a genocide because the higher ups are really not helping.
Kese ya kane nasabaga ko Nations Unies ireconnaissa ko ari genocide.
The third point I wanted
muri 2021 hari abantu bishwe gusukwa ruko basa abasirikare bafata gusamba saso pa barasamba baturage bazi ko batahe babarwana.
In 2021 soldiers went and just started shooting civilians in Minembwe just because the way they looked and because they knew they were not going to fight back.
Muri yo groupe hapfamwe abantu batanu.
In that group 5 people died.
So iyo selection yo gutora abantu kabaziza uko basuka barasa.
That selection of handpicking people because they look a certain type of way and then killing them.
So ntabwo yakagombye gutambuka gutyo.
It is not something that should be forgotten.
So muri twebwe hari kindi kintu cyitwa ethnocide.
There is also something called ethnicity.
Ethnocide.
Ethnocide?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ubundi bagita ngo ni ijambo riva mu Kigiriki
It is a word, it is, the origin of that word is Greek.
bita ethnos bakivuga ngo ni nation bakavuga ngo seed yitwa kill.
So, yeah.
So maana yake ngo nukwica umuntu ahagaze ukamurandura indangagaciro ziwe zose.
So the meaning of that is handpicking a certain person and just killing them and taking away who they are and their culture.
Ukica umuco wabo,
And you kill their culture.
ukica indangagaciro zose.
And you kill their characteristics.
Mu Kinyamurenge bavyita neza bavuga ngo yapfuye ahagaze.
In Kinyamulenge they say that he died while standing.
So bakuranduyemo ibintu byose.
Meaning that they emptied who you are.
Ibyari bigufitiye agaciro babigukuramo.
They took away what was of value.
So ubundi basigara bagutelekomande nkuko televiziyo umuntu aba afite
And now they're
remote.
controlling you just like the way you control a TV with a remote.
So niyo mpamvu tudashobora guhuza ngo tuvuge ikintu kimwe tuvuge ngo ikuniko fashe umwanzuro nk'abanyamurenge.
That is why we can't come to one conclusion and say this is how we take things as Abanyamulenge.
Ukuyu numukobwa wanje ejo ubundi yo mwinjira makamubwira ati so n'umunyamurenge ariko wowe uri umututsi.
So I'm his kid, but maybe somebody can come and say, yo, you're Abanyamulenge, but your dad is a Tutsi.
So kumva ikibazo abantu bafite iyo bakuranduyemo zandangagaciro kawe.
So you understand the heaviness of things when somebody has taken away what is of value, what makes you you.
Ibindi bisigaye bigenda byikora gutyo gusa kubera kuko ntugifite ya valeur yiwanyu.
So everything else they can just rip you apart because they have taken away what is of value.
That's why I love Canada. Canada is a multicultural society.
Nicho gituma nkunda Canada. Canada ni multicultural
So
society.
you don't have to assimilate.
Tugomba gusanamu.
Ntabwo ugomba gukora ibyo bashaka.
You're not supposed to do what they want you to do.
So identity yawe,
Your identity,
identity yawe
your identity
ni sacre.
it is sacred.
Ni ikintu cy'agaciro.
It is something of value.
Ako niba kwambura ya identity,
But once they take out your identity,
so uzosigara ugenda uko bapanze ibintu.
you will walk according to the norms.
So nje nkavuga ngo
So I say,
mucyo tugomba kurwanira cyambere ni ubumuntu bwa identity yacu.
the first and foremost thing that we need to fight for is our identity.
Nta kibazo dufite n'abiyita za preno zindi.
There is no problem if you want to associate with yourself with different pronouns.
So ariko tugomba kwidentifya uko turi.
But we must identify ourselves the way we are.
Turi Abanyamurenge.
We are Abanyamulenge
Bo muri Congo.
from Congo.
So twoba dutuye mu bindi bihugu.
We might live in other countries by nationality.
Ariko ikindi gihe
But another time,
hari igihe kizagera wenda tugataha.
hopefully there's a day that will come and we'll go home.
So hari igihe kizagera wenda tugasubira mu misozi yacu.
And there's a time where we'll go back to our mountains.
So ndangiza
In short form,
ibi byose byatubayeho.
all these things that has happened to us,
Iyo summary nkeya nabashe gukora.
that little summary that I was able to tell you,
Hari n'ibindi byabaye nyuma yaho uru rwandiko nahoze mvuga narwanditse muri 2021.
so this letter that I wrote, it was in 2021.
Nyuma yaho hari izindi z'amasakre zabaye hari abandi bantu bishwe.
After that, there was a different massacres that happened and other people died.
Abafaransa nibo bavuga neza baravuga ngo l'union fait la force.
The French say what?
L'union fait la force.
I don't speak French.
So the united makes force. Ubumwe ni imbaraga.
Oh, unity is power.
So ubumwe ni imbaraga.
Unity is power.
Reba namwe.
Look at yourselves.
Hano dufite systeme iri koze neza cyane.
We have such a great system here.
Nakena kugeza igitekerezo canje umunanirwe kukihageza.
There is so much freedom of speech that if I want to
Ntaho wakenera kugeza ijambo ngunanirwe kurihageza.
there is nowhere you would want to speak and you're not able to.
Ariko abantu nibaza kuguhumuriza bagasanga ntabwo na mukuru wawe cyangwa murumuna wawe yaje bari bazatese ibyo bene wanyu badahesha agaciro nitwe tubihereza.
Yeah, so when people come to pay some respect to you and your own immediate family is nowhere to be found, why would they care?
Nkaba ndangije mvuga ngo
So I'm saying this,
haracyari ibyiringiro.
there is hope.
Iyo igiti gitemwe cyongera gushibuka.
That when a tree is cut, it will still it would still rise.
kandi ntimutekereze ngo kumuri bakeya.
And don't think you're few.
Aho abandi bifuza kugera bafashe indege twebwe tuhagenda n'amaguru.
Where people want to go by plane, we walk there.
Aho abandi bita ngo bagiye kuri table d'honneur twebwe tuhagenda guhumbya no guhumura.
Where people want to have a high table, we can just walk there.
So icyo tugomba kureba ni ukwiha agaciro.
So what we have to do is give us some value.
Ukamenya ko uriwe identite yawe ikaguma ari yayindi.
To stay true to your beliefs and who you are. And
So ugakopera n'abandi ariko uzi uriwe.
And you can even copy other people but knowing truly who you are.
So ariko mu gihe utaba wiyizi,
but if you don't know yourself,
biroroshe ko n'ibyari bigufitiye akamaro unanirwa kubigeraho kubera kuko ndi wiyizi waratakaye.
So it's very hard to achieve things of high value when you truly don't know your identity or who you are because you're lost.
Ubutaha ndasaba ko nituja kubikora.
Next time I ask that when we do this,
tuzabikora umunsi wabyo.
Yeah, that's true. Next time that when we go to do it, we do it the exact day.
Ndasaba ubuyobozi bwa BCC.
I would ask the leadership of BCC.
Ko next year nituja kubikora tubikore August 13.
That next time we do a remembrance, let's do it the exact day of when it happened.
Usibe iyo shift.
Leave that shift that day.
So tuvuga ngo ni umunsi wo kuvuganira bene wacu.
And let's say this is a day to remember our people.
Kandi nituja kubikora.
And when we go to do it,
tubitegure mbere y'igihe.
Let us plan it ahead of time.
So buri muntu wese afite uwundi muntu utari wo muri community yabo.
Everybody has somebody they know who's not from their community.
Ntabwo ari ngombwa ngo tuzane bene wacu gusa.
It's not mandatory to bring our own people.
Ni byiza ngo tuzane n'abandi. Connection zawe ufite uzizane, izo mfite nzizane, uwo munsi tuzabe twabiteguye neza.
So that we organize it well.
Kavuga ngo amahoro y'Imana abane namwe.
And I say may the peace of our Lord Jesus be with you.
Komere ntabapfira gushira.
Be strengthened.
Kandi ikiruta byose dufite n'ibyo byiringiro ko umuntu yapfuye yongera kubaho.
And what's greater, we have hope that when a person dies, they will live again.
So Imana ibafashe.
May God bless you. So that he can speak a few words as we end. Truly, I'm not going to take too long.
Ndagira gusa ngo mbashimire.
I would like to thank you.
Kandi ndagira ngo ya miryango yose yari mu Gatumba ikahaburira abantu.
And I want to say that those families who lost people in Gatumba,
turabihanganisha.
We stand with you.
Turi kumwe namwe.
We're with you.
Mu mbaraga zacu.
In our strength.
Uko Imana idushoboje.
As God enables us.
Natwe tuja kuba wenda bamwe muri twe baba barapfuye.
Maybe if we were in Gatumba at that time, many of us would have died.
Mu by'ukuri turabihanganisha.
We stand with you.
Kimwe n'imiryango yose nkuko bagiye babigarukaho abaguye mu bibogobogo.
Together with different families that were scattered in different places, but massacres took place.
Abagiye bagwa mu mihana itandukanye.
In different villages.
Ndetse kugeza wenda kuwaba yarayapfuye uyu munsi.
Up to a person who died maybe today.
Ntabwo byoroshe kuba muri iyi minsi tubaye tubona ibintu tutari dukwiriye kubona.
It is not easy to see things that we're not supposed to see.
Birakwiye ko iyo mutewe muri umuryango.
It is of deserving that if you're attacked as a family,
mutagomba kuba mugomba kuvamo ngo hakire urasa mugenzi we.
it is important that when war strikes, that families remain united.
Intambara mbi niyo gusubiranamo.
The worst kind of war is the war of killing each other.
Umuntu abateye muri munzu.
When somebody attacks you while you're in the house,
mu byukuri biroroshe kurwana iyo ntambara ari umuntu uturutse hanze.
it's really easy to fight that battle if somebody's coming outside.
Ariko intambara yo mu nzu
But the war the war that's happening inside the house,
ni intambara mbi.
it is the type of it's the worst kind.
Iyo muri umuryango
When your family,
umuntu agatega amatwi umuntu wo hanze,
and then you listen to the outside noise,
umuntu akaguteranya n'umuvandimwe,
and somebody causes a fight among your family,
iyo ukomeje gutega amatwi umuntu wo hanze,
when you continue to hear the outside noise,
byanga bikunda intambara izabatindamo.
so truly the war will take longer.
Kandi uwo mwambi ni mubi cyane.
And that's the kind of type,
Ariko
that type is worse.
biroroshe.
But it's easy.
Kayini amaze kwica Abeli,
When Cain killed his brother Abel,
nyuma y'ikiganiro ciwe n'Imana,
after his discussion with God,
Imana yaramubwiye ngo ibyaha biri tugatugira ku rugi, ibyaha biri tugatugira ku rugi, ibyaha biri tugatugira ku rugi, ariko ufite ubushobozi bwo kubitegeka.
the sins are knocking at the door, but you have the power to stop it.
Ndagira ngo mbabwire ngo tugezaho.
Let me say, let's stop there.
Ndabivugira hano ntabanga rihari.
There is no secret.
Hari ushobora gutekereza ko wenda impamvu mbivuga directeur Rumumbare mu bantu bakigera hano batubajije impamvu hano mu muhana dusa n'abantu bari mu bice.
Director Rumumba is one of the person who asked us once he got here. He said, "How come here in the city you guys seem divided?"
Twamusobanurira impamvu zabiteye.
We explained to him the reasons.
Nawe n'uburenganzira bwiwe yofata uruhande yumva ashaka kubamo.
It is his also given right to pick a side.
Ariko ndagira ngo mvuge ku kantu gusa kavuga.
But let me say something simple that happened recently.
Mu minsi yashize bagenzi bacu baraduhamagaye.
In a few days ago, our neighbors called us.
Ariko kangaka reka kwirirwa ugasobanura urakoze cyane, reka mbivuge gutya gusa kuko nta mpamvu yo kubi. Bagenzi bacu baraduhamagaye, baratubwira bati turifuza ko twazakwibukira hamwe, twese tugakorera iki gikorwa ahantu hamwe. Turabwira tuti twebwe ntacu dutwaye, mugende niba koko mwumva ariko bigomba kumera muzatwandikire kugira ngo nono kubera ko dusige tuvugana ijambo ejo rigahinduka, kandi mu by'ukuri ijambo ntabwo warifataho ngo ubwire umuntu ati dore uko byagenze. Baragiye barandika badusaba ko tuzakorera uyu muhango wo kwibuka hano. Mu nama yacu ya Bisisi twarabiganiriye, turabyemera ndetse tubigeza no muri komite ya sage yacu, baratubwira bati ibintu ntabwo bisa, nimugende muzabikorera. Hanyuma ku minsi 19 ndibaza twahuye na komite ya ruhande tuvugana kuko tuzibuka, twemeranya umunsi itariki ya none iminsi 16. Dushiraho gahunda yo kuba tugomba gushyiraho komisiyo izategura kino kiriyo cyangwa kuno kwibuka. Tuvugana umubare w'abantu tuzashiraho. Mu ruhande rwa BCC twatoye abantu batatu bo muri community yacu, twongeraho umuntu umwe wo muri committee. Mu ruhande rwabo batora abantu batatu bo muri community yabo, bongeraho umwe wo muri komite yabo, ndetse bongeraho undi muntu ukunze kuvuga ko ngo akorana n'iyi Gatumba Foundation. Hanyuma tuvuga ko budget yo gukora muri iki gikorwa tuzayisangira. Hanyuma turimo tuganira turavuga tuti nituja kwibuka ndagira ngo tuzakuremo birya bintu dusigaye dupfa tubishyire ku ruhande, tuzibuka abanyamurenge nibo twapfushije, niturangiza ibindi byo tuzakomeza dusanzwe tubikora, ariko uriya munsi tuzihangane tuzibuka abanyamurenge, ndetse n'ibinakunda tuzareka abaguye ahandi hose tuvuga abaguye mu Burundi gusa. Turangije tuvuga ko tuzashyiraho abantu bazafata ijambo nk'uko n'ubundi magiye mubibona. Tuvuga ko tutazakoresha izina rya BCC cyangwa ririya basigaye bita ryitwa ngo ni neza, kubera ko rero mwagize ubushake reka tugende tubikore gutyo. Turabizemeranya turataha. Ku minsi 25 z'ukwezi kwa karindwi hari mu mugoroba turahura kuri telefone, duhuza ziba abantu bagize irya komisiyo, hanyuma tubashikiriza igikorwa. Nyuma ashize umwanya mbona urwandiko cyangwa se itangazo ry'abari bita ko ari neza ririmo birya bintu bimwe twavuze ko tutazakora. Bibiri zivuga ngo yemwe ab'imitima ibiri ni muhinduke. Sinshobora kuba ibintu bibiri umunsi umwe, icyo kintu ntigishoboka. Kandi ikindi mu by'ukuri buri wese mu burenganzira bwiwe icyo ahisemo. Tugize imyaka iki kibazo twari twarakirangije, barahisemo kujya kuri ya ruhande, natwe duhitamo kujya kuri uru ruhande. Byarantunguye rero bamaze kubikora gutyo, iriya komisiyo yagiye bagezeyo bavuga ko ibi bintu mu butumwa dufite nuko ibi bintu biri muri iri tangazo bitakagombye ko nanga kubivuga cyane, itangazo muzarisome bararifite, ati bigomba kuvamo tukagira insanganyamatsiko duhuriyeho yo kwibuka abanyamurenge. Bo baravuga ngo bo ntibishoboka ko badashobora kureka ijambo ubututsi. Niba rero hari abashobora kwibaza bati se aba bantu bari hano naba gusaba nibo bantu bari ahangaha muri uyu muhanda, hano harimo abantu benshi, nta gitangaza kirimo. Bibiri zivuga ngo inzira ijana abantu kurimbuka izigenda mu kivunge c'abantu, ariko abaje kurokoka ngo ni inzira ifunganye. Uzumva afite irungu ryo kubica agomba kubaca ni ku giti ciwe, ariko ndagira ngo mbabwire ngo umusimamo wa BCC njewe nyoboye uyu munsi ni umunyamurenge n'izina rya community tuyobora muzabirebe, yitwa Abanyamurenge Community Center. Hirya y'icyo ngicyo nta kindi kintu mwanshinja, ngira ngo ntabwo ari nje wabikoze, nkurikiza icanditse muri stati ya BCC. Hari ijambo rimwe dukwiriye kuza tugeraho tukagarukaho tukaryubaha muri izi ntambara tuba tuvuga none. Njewe nazipfushirijemo abavandimwe ntibasomwe kuri izi liste, ariko baguye muri izi ntambara. Izi ntambara zatangiye ndi umuntu mukuru ufite ubwenge, ndi mukuru ndeba. Ntabwo ushobora kumbwira ko ikintu ari umweru ari umukara. Ikindi nzapfa rimwe sinzapfa kabiri. Hari
hari ababivuga baje kuvuga ngo rego ngo nituvuge ngo urabona ngo bari abantu ngo ejo uzosanga ngo umutekano ngubaye muke aho nuba muke bari abagiye se ntibashakaga kubaho nabo bashakaga ubuzima. Hari ikintu kimwe nababwiye ubushize narababwiye nti niba mushaka ko tuzibuka abatutsi kuko mubishaka, hari abatutsi baguye ku Kibuye muri 2017 muri tayari ko tuzabibuka 18 sorry barashwe n'igisirikare cy'u Rwanda n'igipolisi cy'u Rwanda bashakaga uburenganzira bwo gutaha iwabo cyangwa se yashe igakemura ibibazo byabo. Muri tayari ko tuzabibuka kandi tukavuga urupfu rwapfuye atirikada. Ibi aba bantu bose twagiye tubona bagiye bapfa muri iyi mpamvu y'ubututsi, abo Leta barayishe tuzobavuga, abo abanyamurenge bishe bakandi abatutsi tuzabavuga, murashaka igitutsi nico mushaka ko tuzakora atirikada. Hanyuma dukora iki? Urashaka kwibuka umututsi ariko akagira umwe ushira ku ruhande. Icyo kintu rero nico tutashoboye kumvikanaho, kandi iyo bemera abo bose tukabibuka abatutsi babukuru baguye Kigali bari abakizito bapfuye n'abatutsi tuvuga ibintu mazina yabyo, njewe ndacu byari bintwaye twari kuzana tukabibuka. Nibi turi mu gupfa, nibi turi mu guhanganira, ukirirwa umbwira ikintu ndazi uburyo kimeze ariko twakibwira ngo tugisesengure atereka data hondo bagere atisimbura. Reka tuzatureka kubeshana tidukine. Niba ushaka ubuzima n'undi nawe arabushaka, niba ushaka imitungo n'undi nawe arayishaka, niba ushaka icubahiro n'undi nawe arayishaka. Nk'ibi muri mukwirirwa hano umuntu agategura intambara akava hano abandi bagakoza amafaranga hano mwe mukayatanga mwebwe, hanyuma mukaza ngo bari mu nkambi ngo nibagende ngo nibohereza abana ngo nibaje kugira uti mwese amure babikora ni bande badafite abana b'abahungu bakwije imyaka 18. Hari abata bafite muri mwebwe kubera iki mwumva ko ari ugomba kumupfusha ariko wawe akaba agomba kwiga akaja muri university? Mwaretse ubwo bucamanza bubogamye, ubwo bucamanza bubogamye ni bene ubuhe? Kandi abo bose muri mu babihagarariye bafite abana b'abahungu n'abakobwa bafite imyaka nk'aya bariya bapfuye, kandi abo bose bari mu kwirwa baburana ibingibi. Imiryango yabo iratekanye, baragenda mu modoka meza, bari mu mazu meza. Urambwira ko uyu munsi uriya muntu uri kumwe n'impinja ziwe n'umugore we hariya ashikiye ko ziriya ntambara ziba hariya, umwana wiwe akabura umunya, akabura amavuta, akabura isukari, hanyuma gateke ukumva kuko hayavuga ikintu cy'igitutsi. Ibyo bintu biri mu miryango yanyu, mugende mureke ubwo buryarya, tureke ibintu byo kuzaza tugira bene wacu dushora ngo ariho mukunda ngo mubeho. Nibi hano numvise baba bica imigani ibi by'imfu zo mu Gatumba, nza numva baca umugani bakavuga ngo agatinze kazaza namenye yo haruguru. Yumva ko batangiye kuvuga uburyo byagenze, umunsi umwe bazavuga uko byagenze kandi muzabura iyo mukwirwa. Jewe birambabaza, ari n'umuntu ushobora kumbwira hari igihe abantu bari kubavuga atari koga mugomba koroha, ati mworohe, ati mureke tuzishire mu ibyo bintu byatutsi, ati tuzoza tuvuga ibindi byo ngibyo byo tuzabirenza amaso. Jewe ntabwo bafite ico ndaco bintwara. Ushaka kumenya ko umuvandimwe abavandimwe banje bari bakeneye nabo kubaho, bintu zo kuzoza dukururirwa intambara tuzishorwamo bugaca mugabihindura ibi ejo mugahindura ibi. Muzi ko daye kwanza aba bose bazabirirwa bashora abantu mu ntambara, nta n'umuntu numwe ubuzi naho zavuye. Ninde ukupse sinzi birashoka sinzi umvaho. Ndagira ngo mbabwire mu by'ukuri ntabwo ari ikintu, ntabwo ari ikintu cyo gukinisha, ntabwo ari ikintu cyo gukinisha. Nzapfa rimwe sinzapfa kabiri, ariko tuze tuja mu nyungu, utekereze ko n'undi nawe azigize ariho byomushimisha, undi nawe azigize byomushimisha. Dasoreza ahangaha nta kibazo adasa zihorera. Reka nsoreza ahangaha, ndagira ngo mbashimire mwakoze. muri ico gihe cy'amakimbirane hano twahamagaye abagabo ngo nibaze badukize barimo abapasiteri ngira ngo murabizi ko abapasiteri ni benshi hano ndetse n'abantu bakuru mu myaka mu rubanza iyo abagabo babiri bafite ico bapfa iyo bicaje abandi ngo babakize baza bashaka abagabo baba bashaka ibintu bibiri gusa ukuri n'ikinyoma ariko hano bariko baje kubanza bakavuga ngo rego ngo mwese ngo nta kindi mupfa ngo murafishaka ishaka ryo kumarisha bene wacu ishaka ryo kumarisha abavandimwe dufite liste y'abantu baguye mu mazu bishwe n'abanyamurenge tureka ibintu byo kubeshana bishwe n'abanyamurenge babishe tidufite liste zabo barimwo se batutsi waguye kuri Muriza tiyari umushefu ariko twagira ngo tuvuge ngo rego ngo urabona ngo bimeze gutya jewe nabaye kuri liste yasirikiye ivuga ngo rego ngo ndi umwanzi w'ubwoko baza mbona famiye yanje iri kiragenda ibigarura ati ni gute wagiye mu Kagara ati mu bintu byo kuba umwanzi w'ubwoko ukaba muri bene ibi bintu nibiki okay hari umuntu nari nica uwo niciye azandege ndabarahiye imbere y'Imana sinonatinya hari ikintu kimwe ari n'abantu buriya mu kwizera nukumasha ukavuga ngo ikintu ngihisemo nigiye cyo kwihana nukumasha tuza wita kwisoni z'abazakugaya ko bazagira gute ukwiriye kwemanga mugani w'abarundi guhamya ko icuvuze ari ukuri ariko kiri no mutima wawe Bibiliya izivuga mwese ndi muzamurirwa mubyinigisimba hano Bibiliya Paulo we yaravuze nguko ngaragarira Imana ni nako ngaragarira mwebwe ubwanyu turi mukwirirwa duhangana n'abapasiteri hano simwe muzamuduhameza reka dusoreze ahangaha mwakoze kuza ariko tugeza ejo bundi nari kwa Jacques ntiyapfushije muri umunawe mwumvishije hari abamayimayi bamwishe nariko mbaza umuntu umwe muri ruhande twirwa duhanganye ndamwaje ntese wageze kwa Jacques ati none iyo muhuye mwagiye guhumuriza umuntu nkuriya muri mu ruhande rumwe akaba yapfushije umuvandimwe muzamumuhoza gute muzamubwira ko zagenze gute none kurumva ko iki yansubiza iyo nsubiza iki mu byukuri dushoreje aho ngaho kandi turabashimiye mufate ico mwumva mushaka gufata ariko ndababwira ikintu kimwe cy'ukuri cyo ntikizahinduka Imana ni umucamanza w'ukuri kizibera ni umucamanza w'ukuri kizibera haba n'umunsi umwe warenganye uyu munsi n'ubwo hatoboneka itsinda ry'abantu bagaragara bamurengano umunsi umwe azarengano ico ndakizi ndagiha utabigizemo uruhare utanabishakaga hazabaho nta ruhare rwawe ico mube mukizi kandi azabaho ari uwariho murakoze turabashimiye murakoze
mbasabe duhaguruke twatangije n'isengesho turongera dusoze n'isengesho ndasaba Pastor Jotam atambuke hano imbere asenge Imana iragize imitima y'abantu bose bahuye n'ibibazo Imana nibasha guhumuriza Imana nibasha komora no gukiza kandi mugira icumero ciza mwese
Uwiteka Imana ishobora byose n'abazima turagushimiye kubw'uyu munsi mwiza nubwo ari umunsi w'akababaro twibuka abacu ariko turabizi twebwe bizera ko ari umunsi mwiza ndetse n'umunsi wo gukomezanya twibwira twizerana ko
ngutekereje umutima wuzura agahinda iyo nibutse umuborogo n'umubabaro twagize mwasize uko musa Gatumba iyo ngutekereje umutima wuzura agahinda iyo nibutse umuborogo n'umubabaro twagize mwasize uko musa
abariyo nimukomere kuko siko bizaguma twibuke tutazazima twiyubake ejo habe heza abariyo nimukomere kuko siko bizaguma twibuke tutazazima twiyubake ejo habe heza
nubwo amanga adahorera amaraso yanyu twe ntituzabibagirwa tubahoza ku mutima kandi Imana umugenga w'ibihe niyo izabahorera nubwo amahanga adahorera amaraso yanyu twe ntituzabibagirwa tuzabahoza ku mitima kandi Imana umugenga w'ibihe niyo izabahorera
abariyo nimukomere kuko siko bizaguma twibuke tutazazima twiyubake ejo habe heza abariyo nimukomere kuko siko bizaguma twibuke tutazazima twiyubake ejo habe heza amaraso yanyu azahora yibukwa amaraso yanyu azahora yibukwa amaraso yanyu azahora yibukwa amaraso yanyu azahora yibukwa
I want to build something undeniable, something iconic.
Anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done. What will you do, Riri?
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew. I could chew a lot.